I don't got you guys' voice up. Oh, no. There. Oh.
Raidnade said, hello, Mr. Grin. How are you today, my friend?
Oh, I'm so tired, buddy. Oh, I'm so tired. Oh. This. And then this. What's good, guys? Oh, man, I am so...
Lone Syndicate said, what's up, Grin? How are you? Why are you tired?
I'm so fucking tired, man. Oh, my God. Long story short, I'm doing some... I'm helping my family out, basically. Well, they have to go, like, make an emergency trip, essentially. But the whole day I was working. I didn't stop. I woke up at, like, 7, and then just all the way until 4 was, like, at a table going back and forth doing shit constantly. And it's just the level of, like... I think I always try to push myself into my head a little bit, where like I'm like, oh, if I just took like 20 minutes of like a break, or like 15-minute break, 10-minute break even, and just took like a minute, but I won't. I'll like just be like, just keep pace, just keep pace, just keep pace, just keep pace. And it ends up being like when you get to the end, your body starts like shaking because your muscles are like, we've been holding on for hours. Could we just please let go for a minute? And then when you finally sit down in your chair, you're like, oh God. You don't realize how much fatigue was building up the whole time. Anyways, also I was in a hot shop, man, and that shit, I don't know what it is, but sometimes like if I don't have, it sounds weird, but if I don't have like the right electrolyte salt balance, stuff like that in my water, I just get like headaches. I don't know if it's like it feels like I get poisoned by the heat. It's almost like heat strokey kind of thing, where you permanently feel like a kind of like a lingering headache when you get a little too hot. At least I do. I wonder if that's for everyone. I would assume it is. Anyways, on a side note, before we get into the meat and potatoes, I gotta Google this damn mission that we're doing here. Shit. Also, what are we supposed to do a VR stream this week? Who cares? Quest. This is the one we were on. It's called Broken Vow. I picked up a contract. Yeah, okay. Broken Vow. Oblivion, Broken Vow. We will talk about other things besides me in a minute. Okay, sorry. Oblivion, Broken Vow. Oh shit! It says glitched. Shit. That don't help. That's not a good thing. I'm playing the quest Broken Vow, and I'm supposed to kill the Kachik guy. It says he's supposed to be in his home. I picked the lock into the home.
11,234 said Big Grin, missed you yesterday. Hope your week was great. I'm enjoying the summer vibes.
Hell yeah, man, getting out there.
Said I did pick up the altars, Stellar Blade, and the Division 2 DLC thanks to those GMG discounts.
Ooh, nice. So you locked loaded.
Stellar Blade. Pretty fun so far.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but people say it's a good thing. It's funny because like I remember Lone being really thrilled with it, but I didn't hear a lot. I think it's just like it's a testament to things being exclusive. Like it's almost like that's why like Astrobot winning Game of the Year, it felt so weird to me. In the same way that when like Lone told me about how good Stellar Blade was a couple years ago when it was out, maybe it's the beginning of this year. I don't know how time flies. I was like, okay, but it's so distant and it's so like unattainable that like I can't really, like it feels weird. Whereas at least if I have the option, then it feels a little less surprising because I can always experience it. I don't know, I guess when there's console exclusivity, it makes it distant to me. Anyways, enter the house. I can't find him roaming the streets either. Go down the stairs and look for
Lone
a pile
Syndicate
of
said
folded
Stellar Blade
clothes.
has only been out for a year.
McFlufferkin said it was a Sony PS5 exclusive until now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it was.
So it's having an influx of attention and players with the PC launch.
Yeah, I'm trying to realize, I wonder why, like, there's some games that I'm like, oh, okay, I think it has to be that. It's like access. It's almost like, it kind of sounds weird. I don't know if I want to go there. But hypothetically, say there are certain female entertainers that like make it a big deal to never tell when they're in a relationship. Now, even if the people who are like, yeah, I don't have any interest in this person whatsoever, like viewers who are watching them, I have no interest in them ever. If you ask me if we could ever be together, I'd be like, hell no. But as soon as I do find out there's that, like that they're taken, there's a part of my brain that is slightly less interested. And I wonder if that's in a small kind of way. The same thing for it's like access. So like if I don't have access to this video game because it's on PlayStation and I don't want to buy a $500 fucking console if I'm only gonna play 2 games, then it's in my background of my head to be like, nah. I get to suppress its excitement because I can never access it. So it's like, is anyone out there like edging permanently to things that they'll never have? Probably not. They're probably like, I'll stay in my lane a little bit. Anyways, okay, so it says, go down the stairs and look for a pile of folded clothes on the floor. There's a trap door under them, and it leads to the basement where he's usually there training. What the F?
McFlufferkin said a very small portion of people owned a PS5, plus we had the dumb Sony regional lockouts that applied to any Sony-published titles, even on PC.
Amen, yeah.
Most of which has been lifted in time for this launch.
I know. I feel like, man, if young me could hear about like the state of the world, it'd be insane for many reasons. First of all, you're gonna go through a lot of shit. But pandemic and all that stuff. Anyways, but I would also be like, man, can you imagine telling your past self that like, yeah, Xbox is gonna have like a mass array of games that you can pay for $15. Sony is gonna start killing it, especially in the era of like Sony PlayStation 3, which everyone was like shitting on you for having a PlayStation. Because it was just like one of the worst selling consoles and stuff like that. For just Sony being like the kingpin, and now it's kind of starting to atrophy a little bit. That's what I think people agree. I kind of agree with that thing, which is like this Sony PlayStation 5, I think, was the weakest console cycle of. I guess Xbox probably has it worse. Xbox had like less exclusives and etc. and had like a thing that apparently was really hard to develop on. That's why there's not a lot of games that were ported to Xbox. Anyways, okay, so apparently we go into the house, and there's a trap mother effing door? Did we make a save while we were in the house so I don't have to be weird and get caught or something? This. We were in the house. Good. Apparently, there's a fucking trap door in here, and it doesn't tell you shit. What the heck? And I can't even ask my, brothers, my dark brothers and sisters, because we killed them all because we're a monster. Anyways, apparently, there's some shit. There's a bit of clothes, they say. Is it this? Oh my god.
G-Red said PS2 era was best. Emo has not been beat yet.
I agree, PS2 era is pretty good, although some would say the PC era has never died, okay?
Catman 11
and we're still on an absolute win.
Said, I'm currently saving up for my Valve VR. Excited for something that is really good.
Oh, I hope so too, man.
I forger if it ships with a puck. Can you rant about it for a bit?
Hell yes, I can. I'm gonna fucking have a heart attack, but let me see. Man. I am both. Dude, I was checking it every fucking day, Cat. The Valve indexed, Deckard, leaked subreddit, essentially, every fucking day. And then it just kept getting me more depressed because it started to be like, I don't know. Whenever they started talking about, it's going to have big FOV, but really low, 2K quality. And I was like, I mean, I like FOV, but I kind of want it to look nice. You know what I mean? It's going to be worse quality than the Quest. And I'm like,
G-Red said, sure. PC is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I was just
No, I
agree.
I agree it's 12. But
I did not get into PC gaming until 2012.
100%. I also think that era was just good. Xbox 360 and PlayStation... I think those are the two best eras to me. I think PlayStation, Xbox 360, even though it fucking died constantly, maybe plans obsolescence, I don't know. But anyways, and then PlayStation 2. But I think those were I'd say the Xbox era. I think it might have been me because that was where I kind of got into gaming more, and I kind of slightly was into gaming at PlayStation 2. Anyways, back to the Valve Deckard. I don't know if we're gonna go the route of Puck Cat. There's a chance. The reason why, so the Valve Deckard was supposed to supposedly come out this year, but there's two reasons why it didn't. One, I think, and this is my own personal thing, they baited out the quality of the lenses, and a lot of people said, I don't want that. Hell no. And then Valve is like, well, fuck, we did just invest into this micro OLED display company, but that's not going to be ready for another year. So then they're like, well, shit, should we ship it? And then the creme de la creme, motherfucking Trumpito, baby, fucking tariff war nonsense made it so that fucking everyone was like, can't do anything. So yeah, unfortunate. We're not getting political here, but unlucky big shit sandwich for Canadians, especially. Anyways, so that's been delayed until next year, speculatively. Now, granted, this has been going on for an eternity with the Valve Decker. It's been like, oh, it's coming out this year. Not joked, kidding, 5 years in a row. So it's looking more promising than ever because they're in their initial phases of like QA or whatever it's called, like the publishing of an actual product, where they're testing the software, they're implementing it, they have like a mock-up, and it's into like its green light thing. And it was supposed to be greenlit. I think it was greenlit this year, but it wasn't. It was delayed because of all the weird bullshit. So I don't. The only thing that leaves me wondering is. So this is what's crazy. $1,200 is a lot of money, especially for me as Canadian, which is actually $1,700, so $2,000 for this goddamn headset. Then there begs the question of like, okay, it's a lot of money, but what if for like $200 more you were able to get like the thing that you actually wanted, which is good resolutions, like the whole package, or this is something my cat mentioned, which is the puck. So maybe by delaying it this year, they can actually invest in this thing. But I feel like it's a better bet that the Valve Deckard is going to just be a really good VR headset that we've talked about for many years now. And then Meta is probably going to have the first like puck thing. Apparently they scrapped their MetaQuest Pro, the thing that like they made eye tracking and all that shit, which was kind of innovative at the time, but it kind of sold too high and the market wasn't ready for that kind of stuff. Anyways, point being, yeah, they're like it's leaked, but it's confirmed at this point that they're actually making like a puck thing. It's funny enough though, they're actually not producing another Quest 3. So this is what's weird about Meta right now is they're kind of like they're backing out of the Quest 3, which is their best-selling VR console or VR headset. They're backing out of that, and now they're trying to get into like what I think is like the smallest form factor ever. Because I think that's where the industry is going. I think everyone is in like a mad dash because there's a bunch of new bleeding-edge tech right now, and there's already companies that are doing good VR stuff that are like making it so small, so light. The processing chips are getting even smaller. Everything's getting more form factor, and everyone, including Apple, including all these massive players, are wanting the holy grail of basically like glasses with screens on them. And I kind of agree with them in the sense that if you can get like kind of close, like I think it's maybe a little bit easier to buy in to like a big screen beyond, which is like a really thin, tiny, minimal headset that's light on your face, but it's still a headset. It's not glasses. Then the tiny, super expensive glasses thing. And I think that other headset would be able to tap into like 40% of the market, whereas the glasses would be able to tap into like 80, because I think most people would be down for like wearing glasses and seeing like a beautiful screen. Now, the issue is that the tech's not there. So I think that the initial investment is that. But anyways, the point is, Kat, I don't know, man. I'm not sure if it's a bummer to you. Maybe it's good for people who are like, I could save for longer for the headset if I don't have it. To me, it's a bummer because I've been saving for like 2 years now, so that just makes it 3 years now and 4 years now or whatever it is. So I would want it sooner rather than later. But again, I'd be heartbroken if they released it and it was just kind of like, it just kind of had eye tracking and it just had like decent displays. And I'm like, what the fuck did we wait so long for? This could have been out like regardless. Now we have like crazy competition like Big Screen Beyond, the Mega Next, which dude, the Mega Next to me is the one that is, if I lived in the US, I'd probably buy it. It is like an Apple Vision Pro, but made by China, unfortunately, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah. But it looks great. It looks like super good.
G-Red said they'd have to be big glasses to allow people with glasses to wear them, lol.
Well, so that's the coolest thing though. You can get like inserts that cost like maybe like $20, $30 for prescription lid inserts that go over the thing. But let me show you guys, just because we're on this thing. These are the two big things.
11,234 said, so what will be the straw that breaks the camel's back for you to not buy it?
I'll be honest, man. I've been I'm at the point where like I'm in the worst position possible. I am desperate. You know what I'm saying? I am desperate, and you hate to see it, but it is what it is. So if they were like, hey, maybe this, I'd probably just be like, dude, I might just fucking buy it just to buy it. So long as it wasn't like $2,000, I might just be like, okay. Because again, this is the issue that I also have is I really want to make VR content. It's hard to make VR content when you have shit like this.
Gnawing Fetus said at this point, it sounds like nothing unless it's like 3K USD.
Yeah, that's the worry. But this is what the thing that everyone said. This is what I want. This is enough. I don't want more than this. This is exactly the right amount. Also, what is the other thing called? I don't know what it's called, but it's not the Magnex is not what I was talking about. By the way, there's two that are like this. But anyways, this is the thing this is the one that like is started this all, which is like you don't have to have a giant fucking headset on your face anymore. It can literally just be like slightly bigger. Like apparently people talk about this being like a pound, like I don't know, it's like a quarter pound or something, like super light. And then that was kind of copied by this, which is even smaller, and it's not just like being pulled against your face, it's kind of pulled against your forehead, which is a little bit better. And it's 8K resolution, which is fucking buzzword nonsense. It's 4K. It's just, they take two screens, so it's 2K, it's fucking 4K. It's just annoying. Anyways, but yeah. Yeah, same thing was when they're like, it's 4K displays. Be careful, because it's probably just 2K, and they're just being idiots. They're being asshole liar pieces of shit. Anyways, but to me, this is the dream. The dream is to have a headset that's like this, that can, for me, if I'm telling you like my most want list, I want eye tracking. I would like it to do its own controller tracking, and I want it to have as high and as good as resolution as possible. I don't care if it can like run shit inside of it, and I want it to be able to ping to my PC or to ping to a receiver that streams it to my PC. So I still want my PC to be powering it, and with how good transfer data for like headphones and all these things are getting, I don't think it's impossible. That's my dream headset. Will it happen? Probably not. Probably not. That's probably too specific for people. But that's what the dream is for me. But anyways, this is the form factor that I've seen. And yeah, to Red's question though about it being weird with the things, you can just buy inserts. So like there's a tiny little magnetic lens you just plop on the inside of it, and you can just wear it without even having to wear glasses on it. So, and it's actually pretty affordable. I looked at something like the if you buy from like the actual VR like main people, it costs like $120. But if you buy from people who are not like that, or like some third party, but they still got the same lens technology as everyone else, then it's great. Then it'll be like, I think it's like $40-$30 depending on your prescription. But yeah. And again, if you wanted to give it to your friend to check out, you can just pull out the inserts because they're all magnetically locked in there, right? So that's where the whole thing works. Nong says, yeah, at this point, it sounds like it might be $3,000. I don't think it'll be $3,000. I think that's the thing that like Steam. And that's what like everyone pushes back against, the price tag of like, well, what if it's more expensive than $1,200? And then people are like going like, dude, the amount of pages I've seen of people like debating the like the cost of parts and stuff like that, and being like, but wait, they said that they were only charging so and so much money for this. Or no, they said that they were selling at a loss. So people always use that as the argument, and I think that's a pretty good argument. But the question is, how good is Valve about like getting the right tech and the right like pipelines? I would say pretty good, given the Steam Deck seemed pretty impressive at the time and all that shit, and they've had so many times to iterate upon that. I think their infrastructure is much higher than what it was in the past when the Index was first made. So I don't know, but if you're trying to make money in your Valve, I think something that would sell but wouldn't like push the industry forward would be 2K displays, with eye tracking, with decent FOV, with high refresh rate, all in headset, for under $1,000. I think would probably be like $800. I think people would be like, yeah, yeah, I'll do it. You know, it's crazy when you think about like Meta has done most of that without the eye tracking, for $500, $600. So yeah, and I imagine they're still trying to make a profit. Because unlike Steam, Meta has like Meta Store, but it's not nearly as popular as Steam. Sorry, so Steam, you could sell at a loss because you're just trying to get customers to get into Steam to then buy more stuff from your store. Yes. Anyways, we have a little guy here, which I don't remember what he wanted us to do. Do we want to kill him? It's been a couple days. What do you want from me? Do you want me to kill this man? Yep. Castle. Yep. Can be found in his house. Master of unarmed combat, and will provide challenging opponent. I should also await that person expecting trouble that paid off the guards to look the other way if our fight spills out into the streets. Well, okay, Catman. I don't know why the Khajiit have really weird tits. Chest packs something. It feels very weird. It looks like a man's chest, even though it shouldn't. You know. Like you have, why did all of the cat genes go straight to your face, and then all of the human genes go to your chest and tiny waist? Very odd. But anyway, sir, it was just the wind. It was just the wind. The wind is loud. The wind is loud. Stop. Stop it. So it's just a blazing torrent. Oh, what happened? Did I do it right? Is dead. I must pick up my reward at the dead drop location. Yeah, I'm feeling this was a brotherhood friend, because this is not normal people behavior to have a dungeon where you just fucking brawl out. Honestly, kind of a nice little man cave. But yeah, definitely some dark brotherhood shit. Also, who has candles in the hallway like that? Wouldn't that like gas you out or like cause some fumes to make you sick? Anyways, also, I want to talk about that. What do you call it? Who is going for Cat Lady and ZZZ? Also, no, I already asked you this, Kat. I was going to ask you about the VR thing. I already asked you, but I think you told me that your main thing that you wanted was like the wireless aspect of it, and like a receiver that pings to like APC or just something else, and high FOV. But I think I also asked you, and I remember you tell me that you would rather have refresh rate and FOV than like pixel density. But to what point? Like, will you be okay with like 2K? Like 2K resolutions per eye with like 130 FPS and what was the other one? And a wireless like ping thing. I mean, it does sound kind of nice. I just, I hope more. If you spend $1,200, you want to like be like, this is it. I don't have to buy another headset forever. Not forever, but like for a long time. Yeah, I think the best time to get a headset was the Quest 2, because the Quest 3 was some advancement, but I don't think it was that much of an advancement. I think if you're a fan of VR, you're happy, but I think, yeah, it wasn't like crazy. Also, did I do a crime?
Stop right there, criminal scum. Nobody breaks the law on my watch.
G-Red said because the devs made everybody, for male and female, the same mech. Then they just attached a head to it.
But I didn't... What? I'll pay the gold, I guess.
That's too bad. Okay.
But I'm confused. I thought I wasn't seen. Did somebody else find out that I killed him or something? I don't know. Wasn't the guy meant to not see? I don't know what happened. Anyways, I guess I'm invisible. And this has not happened before. Like, I understand how crazy it is for me to sound like, but I was stabbing him 7 times in the chest. And he was screaming in agony, but I was invisible. Surely no one knows what happened. Or that was at least a little fucking demonic of some kind. But I seen at the beginning of the chat when you guys were talking that, Lone, are you going for, well, of course you're going for the cat lady. But it's interesting the raid's going for the cat lady. I haven't seen the videos pop up on my feed that show about something, the fucking tiger lady. But I think this is the first character that I will go for and just not stream it. And I'll just be like, I'll report back on the Discord. It was bad. And guess what? It's probably going to be bad. But hey, I got nothing besides, yep. Also, I wonder if there is a special like dagger that we can get. I know there's one that instantly kills people, but no, that's probably what we should probably go get. Maybe I should look into doing that after we do the. Well, maybe we should do it before we finish off the Dark Brotherhood. Is it a temple? No, I don't want to go to the temple. I need to go around. Oh no, I need to go in the fucking temple. Oh wait a minute. Wow. Should I crouch? Oh, I didn't mean to go invisible. Oh. Also, man, I so badly just want to talk about Borderlands. A part of me was like, should we just scrap this stream and talk more about the Rafa? Because I really wanted to talk more about Rafa. Because I feel like after I finished the Siren break, like when we finished breaking down all of her skills and thinking about all of them, a part of me really was like, I think Rafa might be actually like quietly better.
If you do the Daedric quest where you make everyone drop their clothes in a castle, that puts a fine on you for pretty much everywhere. Mehrunes Razor is like a 45 minutes dungeon dive for you, Prolly.
Oh, well, shit. Okay, then maybe not. Maybe we'd take a chill pill on that. The Razor, yes. Pays to be invisible. Spits in guard's face.
G-Red said, I'm down for more BL4 talk if everyone else is.
We have to do a little bit of... Let's kill one more person just so that the title I feel so bad I put the title in the last Sunday, I think. It was like Zenless or Withering, and we didn't play it, and I thought, I'd be pissed. I was like, I like watching this from you. And then just botched.
Lone Syndicate said, I'm also down.
Also down. Ooh. Maybe we just go and take a bit of some pennies. Also, I do not know, man. I should say I do know. I'm very happy that the Doom video is doing well and people are enjoying it. But it is. I don't think I've ever had any video where I've gotten more comments in a smaller amount of time.
G-Red said, "OMG, your face reaction from that long."
It's because I want to, but I'm like, I also am not like the most mentally clear right now because I have spent the whole day like doing physical labor and it doesn't really affect my head. It's more like heat. And whenever I feel like I'm heat strokey.
Said swap to it on the hour. Stick with Oblivion until then, or quest completion at least.
Yeah, maybe just one more quest. We'll do a little bit. I'll play it by ear. I play it how I feel. If I feel like I'm tired of playing Oblivion, we'll be chill about it. What was I think I fucked up somehow. Also, what? Yeah, what the heck? Why is it? Yeah, I guess I was inside and we need to leave to the outdoors, maybe something. I don't know. Anyways, we go straight shot over there now. Oh wait, never mind. Ah, shit, it's not a specific thing, I don't think. Or people are moving.
Gnawing Fetus said pick a random quest, do it, then swap to BL Yakety Yak.
Yakety Yak! He's dead. I must pick up my reward next contract at the dead drop location in a rotten box under the bridge just south of the Imperial City. Why is it fighting me? Why is it telling me to go fucking to the right or something? It's forward. I don't know. Also, guys... I was going to ask you guys what anime I should watch. It's a very weird question, I know. I don't know. I feel like you guys are like, I don't know, go watch whatever. But, I don't know. I wanted to watch Solo Leveling, but I can't. I feel like I shouldn't. So there has to be something else. It's either between Tower of God, Season 1 and 2, because I'll probably rewatch it, and then another one. But I don't know what that other one might be. And I don't know if I'm... Tower of God's so good. Although I haven't heard a bunch of crazy shit.
Syndicate said, I got you, GRINN Shangri-La Frontier.
I've watched up to 40 episodes. I feel like, man, anime is such a weird thing. One of the books I'm reading right now has something basically which is like, it's basically the two things that can mess up an offer or like, you know, the idea of like you could ask someone for something is...
G-Red said I'd like some anime recommendations too. Preferably something with good romance. McFlufferkins said Ranma 1/2 reboot.
That one's a little too old for me. Whenever I see it, it looks like it's kind of like it's got, I don't know how to put it, but it looks a little, like there's too much good shit for me to try to go back in the past and watch something that's probably great, but also a little, I know it's not old, but it's probably got that old flair, and I don't know, man. You know what sucks? I see these people in comments talking about like, whenever I read a manga that's like about like regression, I go to the comments always, because that's just a Twitch I have to always look at comments, and I always see people who are like, me devouring the 78th regression manga, and I love it. I'm like, that's me. It sounds terrible. I could broaden my horizons, but there's so much food out here I already love that I feel like I gotta cut it down to a barometer. Now, I did ask, and I appreciate you guys playing, but what I really wanted to ask was I will give you two options, tell me which one to pick. Which sounds even less nice. Like valuable if you to give insight to, but that's what to finish off that train of thought. So Shangri-La Frontier, in the book I was reading, there's a thing where like there's two things that can like screw up you making an offer for something, and one of them is if you just don't like it anyway. So it'd be like if somebody suggested me like a really slow horror anime, and I'm just like no, because I have no interest in that anyway. But the other one is timing, which I think no one really knows, but it's such an important thing to understand. Because I think that's what fucked me up with Shangri-La Frontier, where like I enjoyed it kinda, but I just wasn't in a time to where I could like have fun with it, I guess. Like at the time, I think I wanted something that was like a little bit more meaningful or spicy or like had like some feeling of investment. And Shangri-La Frontier feels like it's kind of like a vibe rather than like a stake-driven thing. Like, you know, when you're watching Solo Leveling, you're like kind of really invested into like him progressing, into him like getting over these certain humps and how he's going to pull this out of his ass. Whereas Shangri-La Frontier, it's always the thing about games. Gave us one option in the
I
know. I was a bad question asked for me for sure. It wasn't you guys' fault. It was me being like not being clear about like what I was hoping to get out of the situation, and then me coming to the conclusion like live, being like, oh. Yeah, I'm the asshole here, for sure. It's my bad. So what's good, Truly? Truly says, hello, what's good? But the Shangri-La Frontier is a good one. A really good one. As far as Red's question, which I feel like is much better question, which is what is a good romance anime? It's tough because I don't know what other things you might like, Red. For me, I want to say that my favorite, like, oh man, I don't even know if it's considered a romance so much as it's considered like a wholesome, just a super beautiful story. It's called March Comes In Like a Lion. It's not exactly like a romance, but there is like undertones of somebody caring greatly for somebody, and I think will eventually become a romance. It's kind of a weird
Lone
thing.
Syndicate said Love Flops was a good romance anime.
Love Flops. I know, but Red said that he didn't like solo level. Well, he liked solo leveling, but he didn't love the fact that there was not.
Red said some that has action too, but also romance. Basically Sao, but not lol.
Red, this is gonna be a very big swing, and it could be a miss. I think an anime that if you could just get over the kind of juvenile aspect of it all, I think it's kind of made for you. It's called High School DxD because it's pretty lewd, pretty sus, pretty smexy characters, but there also is a good bit of like cute romance stuff. Unfortunately, it is a harem, so that might suck the life out of the thing, but it weirdly does fit my understanding of you and how I think you could get a good. It could be fun to watch, if that makes any sense. This also could be a very, somewhat of an insult if you watch it and think, you think this is what I would like? I think so, actually. I think it fits all the bells of some schmexiness as well as some good juvenile humor, and they swear and they don't hold back. And it's, I wouldn't say it's romancy so much as it's like, it's a little I wouldn't say romance to me is like lovey-dovey shit, and I don't know if that's exactly that. But it's got to have action in it. I feel like I should know this. Oh, it's under the bridge, by the way. Shit, it's under the bridge. That's my bad. Take this. I feel like I should know this. What is an anime that has good romance and is action-driven?
McFlufferkin said, my recommendation coincidentally fits Red's request, too.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That makes sense. I'm just thinking, like, what is some of the better, like, cool, good action type of, like, pursuit of something that's similar to SEO? Yeah, Overlord don't count. It has that similarity, but not quite, but not romance at all. Fuck. Oh, have you watched Shield Hero? Shield Hero might be a good pick for you. Yeah, Shield Hero might be the ticket, I think. It's got SEO elements, like sort of online elements, except it's not a video game. It's like isekai shit. I think that'd be a good one to watch. I quite like that one. That one also had some like, I don't know if you want to call it romance. Shit, I skipped it. No, I don't know if that's, again, it's like, it's romance, but it's super fucking delayed. It's like edging for like 2 seasons until finally it happens. And even then, it's still suspect of why it happened. Anyways, the romance is killing me. It's such a rarity to find good romance and also like a fun plot. It's like action happening. Lone, help. Lone, you're another anime watcher. Help. I have picked up my next contract from the dead drop beneath the old bridge. I have been ordered to kill...
said for something like Sao, .hack series might work too, but it's an older series and sort of predates the isekai trend.
Lone Syndicate said, what am I helping with?
Red's question. Red says, do you have for me a romance anime that also has some good like action-y plot? So it's not just romance; it has to actually have like cool plot of some kind, but also have like a romance undertone. And I'm blanking out on what the fuck it could be. I feel like I should know it. I feel like when you say it, I would be like, "That's a good one." But yes, I said Shield Hero, but I don't know if Shield Hero has like the romance driven aspect. It kind of just has like a weird lovey-dovey thing that eventually sprouts in like season 4 maybe of something being something. And even then, it's a little bit like fucked up that it happens. Anyways. I feel like I should know this. That's what's killing me.
Norman Fetus said the .hack series has next to no romance in it from what I remember from back then.
Yeah, I feel like the romance thing is what's hanging me up a little bit.
G-Red said I've never really gravitated to the harem genre.
No?
I'm kind old-fashioned regarding romance.
Fair.
I prefer singular couples kind of thing. I'm a hopeless romantic. So love always prevails kinda thing, lol.
Yes.
Lone Syndicate
yes.
said Chain Soldier is a good romance action fan service anime.
Chain Soldier.
McFlufferkin said Full Metal Panic and its comedic spin-off is pretty fun, if you like mecha.
I feel like everyone's saying things and they're all good answers, but I feel like every time you say one, I'm getting closer to, like, I think there was one that I just fucking am terrible at remembering, and it fits that category of, like, not harem-y, not anything weird like that. It's kind of like a singular lady. Oh, I hate myself so much. The one I would always suggest is the one that I think is like one of the more underappreciated anime, which is called March Comes in Like a Lion. Again, it's real cool. I like it a lot. Anyways, Stitch says, The Grinner, what's good, Stitch? How are you? Have you seen the new Stitch movie? And if it was good, how was it good? Or was it, I should have asked this better. Was it good? Argonian name, Zilia's, hold up in the flood mines. She is wanted psychopath. So I should be cautious. I do think it's just it's weird because that's what I say apparently. Like I'm like, oh no, she's crazy, and I'm like, I'm invisible, and they never attack me. I don't know, man. Imagine you live like you play this whole playthrough, and then eventually the devs put in like a character like her that like can see through like fucking illusions. And you're like, oh shit, my build. You just completely like get fucking halted. That would suck. I just think it'd be hilarious to have your like you drop your pants moment where you're like, oh what? I'm invisible. You can't do this. You can't do this to me. All right. Oh, don't fall. There we go. Oh, Stitch says it was good indeed. As well, the How to Train Your Dragon? I heard I looked pretty good, but it's so weird, man. People like when people do too much.
Lone
shit.
Syndicate said my life as Inukai man's dog has romance in it, but it is very off the deep end in terms of romance.
Red, I'm gonna go ahead and say we nix this one. This is Lone trying to sabotage a person enjoying anime.
McFlufferkin said, unfortunately, there's not a lot of non-harem anime series when it comes to romance.
Sad voice,
They're
yeah,
more
like you
commonly
said.
done as movies and
read
one-off stories, like A Silent Voice.
Yes, yeah. The Red. Wait, did I read that right? Yes, we definitely want to nix Lone's recommendation of the dog anime. This will pollute you forever. and have you be like, we just stopped watching anime. Actually, we can stop. That's an anime you watch. Honestly, to be fair, High School DxD is also an anime. Where like 10 leagues deep, then you watch it and then you can appreciate it because it's silly and it's fun. You don't take anything seriously because you watch anime for so long, you realize everything's crazy and nonsense. You can enjoy it for what it is, rather than someone going into a story and being like, why are they being so cringe? And I'm like, well, that's kind of the point, but maybe not. I don't know. It's a mess. But Silent Voice is really good. It's not very action driven though. Again, it's hard to find the double set, and I feel like I should know it. This is what kills me inside. Shield Hero, Overlord, no. There's one I watched a long time ago where a dude is like in a fire clan. No, he has like a red heroine in it. It's okay. It's kind of mid, but it's fine. There's horror animes like Dead Man Wonderland. No, it's a weird fucking thing. No. There's oh man. Yeah, it's just a bunch of weird. It's so fucking rare to find one that's not harem-y. That's one. It's okay.
Said most of my personal
I got one.
Sadly only have
it's
one or
a
two
solid
seasons.
B+.
Or don't tick the right boxes for this criteria.
It's a solid B+, but I need...
G-Red said, I'm honestly not expecting anything to top Sal.
I need to tap
it
into Lone. Lone, I need your help.
Balance for me.
Lone, I need your help. What was the anime where there's a guy who goes to the school and he's like a martial artist, but he doesn't have anything cool. He meets like a fiery pink-haired lady. Then he like... basically just fronting on people for most of the series while they start to become, but it's one of the few series.
Said, oh wait, you are Ms. Servant and my wife has no emotion, a good romance anime.
Sure, okay. Yes, the one I'm talking about though, just because I kind of lose it. Pink-haired girl, main-haired protagonist, he uses the katana, he goes to the school, he's fucking shit up. But it's one of the few anime that actually ends with them like being a couple or married. I need your help to figure what that one is. I'm trying to think of what the hell it could be called. That one does have action. That one does have a romance plot and does have a actual thing. Now, is it a good romance plot? Well, I think it's fine. I don't know. Well, based on SEOs, I would say SEO has like a solid B to A+ at later seasons. Romance plot. Anime. with sword. Fucking horrible sword. Guy and girl with pink hair. This is a real big stretch. Oh, that's another fun one. That one's... I wouldn't say it's actiony, but that's a good one.
Lone Syndicate said Shikimori, not just a cutie.
Yeah, I was going to say Shikimori is not just a cutie is good, but that's not the one I'm thinking of. But yeah, that one's I just seen that pop up too. That one's pretty good. That one is it's not action driven, but it's like a good slice of life one, which is like it's not very it's not boring. The whole premise is that there's a girl who's like kind of a Giga Chad. Got it. Yes, baby. Fucking Google, you're amazing. Can't believe that worked out. Jesus Christ. I said anime with this sword guy and a girl with pink hair, and it fucking sniped it. It's called...
McFlufferkin said, I know it's not the right one, but mentioning school, action, and pink-haired love
Yeah.
interest, and I think Mirai Nikki.
Ooh, okay. This is the one. Contrary to it looking like a harem, it is not. But it is called... I'm just gonna show you the fucking thing. I guess I could say it's called Rockadoo. Okay, there's got to be a fucking actual name of it. Chivalry of a Fallen Knight is what it's called. It's not a great answer, but it's the one that's coming to mind that fits your criteria. But I will have you know, it's a solid B minus, sometimes a plus. It depends. I don't know. Now this should work out. Red. I have an anime I want you to watch. And it's Dimache, or Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? Now, it looks like a harem, but for the first 2 seasons, it doesn't really be a harem. The issue is that the main protagonist is like he's like great. Honestly, as many times, even though, oh wait, do you guys, yeah, it's fine. Even though, the fucking like harem protagonists
said
are
Chivalry
awful.
of a fail knight that was good. I enjoyed it. Never finished it.
Never
though.
finished. The end's pretty sick. The ending is pretty fire. He like fucking goes sicko mode and it's pretty neat. But it's the only one that fits the criteria of it's like a singular person. There's a moment. Man, anime is so cursed. There is a moment where maybe you shouldn't watch it, man. Fuck, Lone, man. Do you remember what happens in the first 3 episodes where that fucking white-haired girl that is his sister, like, fucking kisses him or something? I don't know, man. I don't fucking... Ugh. This is what's so hard about, like, suggesting anime to people, is that there's, like, some horribly cursed thing that you have just stopped paying attention to, and I might be dead. I might be dead. Oh, God.
Catman 11,234 said, thinking about starting Apothecary Diaries.
Yep. And I died. Thinking about starting Apothecary Diaries. Let me look this up. I don't know what to envision. Apothecary Diaries. It sounds
G-Red
familiar.
said, I watched a few seasons of that, yay. Not sure if I finished it. But the protagonist was frustratingly super fucking naive regarding girls throughout every season.
Well, it's not his fault. He might be asexual. I don't know. But yeah, I kind of, it's funny because like, I think there are moments where it draws attention to it where like he knows, but he's kind of just like, I'm kind of just working on myself and doing my, so it's not like he's being like the traditional harem protagonist where he's like not aware that people love him. He's just kind of like,
Sao does have Kirito's half-sister that had a crush.
that is fair. Okay, good. So man, this actually works out perfectly. That chivalry one that I mentioned. What am I looking up right now? I'm looking up Apothecary's Diaries. What is this? Is it a novel? Apothecary's Diaries anime. Oh, I've heard about this one.
Lone
Okay.
Syndicate said the Duke of Death and his maid is good romance and has some action in it.
I would say if you're coming into it, I think what Red is wanting is like SEO level of balance. So if he wants like SEO level of action and progression, but then like some, I feel like Red would probably want more of the action and cool factor of things. And then like, I just want a fucking heroine where they end up together and it's cute and it's nice. I don't need it to be like the best romance ever. Maybe. But I've seen this one before. This is the one that people were, yeah, it's actually really cool, this one. I can't see anything. Stuff on the screen I can show you. If anyone looks at this anime and thinks it looks familiar, yeah, this one's neat. That's what I always see a clip of her like beating the shit out of this lady, who is poisoning her like friend. But it looks like a good romance one. Definitely really cool. It's in like the Japanese type era, which looks neat. It's on the list, but there's so much ahead of that list. Yeah, I'm really. Well, first of all, do we have a breathe underwater skill? I feel like we should. Somewhere. Magic. Breathe underwater. It should be a self buff. Shadow step. We definitely have it. I don't know if we have it bind to anything.
McFlufferkin said, would Spy Family count?
G Red said, shit, I need a list.
Spy Family is not a bad choice, Fluff. It's not exactly a romance, but it is a romance. I think Spy Family is probably one of the better options, actually. Wow. It's not a direct romance, but it is a eventual possible romance, but it should still satisfy you. I don't know if it has like the kind of it depends. I don't know what Red needs to tell us what kind of action he is wanting. Is he okay with like a modern day setting where there's like two spy couples and it's all the shenanigans that happen around them? Or do you want, like, I got fucking isekai'd into a spatial realm where I have magic now and there's werewolves and shit? Like, there's different levels of so much going on. I don't know what level of action would satisfy Red to know what barrier we have to at least clear. Also, I'm going to heal myself, hopefully through me drowning, which is kind of a horrifying concept, honestly. I think I'll still die. What if we go straight ahead?
G-Red said, I'm flexible on the action. The romance is more important for me.
Oh!
Catman 11234 said, are we gonna get some cute, wholesome relationships in your manga Grin? Perhaps you shall satisfy Red.
I'm going to choose a way harder path with my story, I think. Which is something that I don't feel like many stories do, which is loyalty, basically. So, yes, the main person who I think the main character is, like, for sure with, I don't know if I might do the harem-y thing, I probably won't.
Lone Syndicate
but
said
we'll see.
Shimonetta, a boring world where the concept of dirty jokes doesn't exist, has action and romance.
Ooh, that's a good one. It's a little
Gnawing Fetus
excessive.
said, if you want to be permanently scared for life, read Battle Royal.
I don't want
Favorite manga I've read
I don't wanna.
vaguely satisfies Red's criteria.
I don't know. That sounds like a devil's deal where, like, I will in fact give you what you want in the way that you don't want it. so I I would maybe Cat says Shimonada is crazy hot. I'm about to say it is. I think actually that might be the one that Red likes the most and Red connects with the most because it does have romance. It also messes with something that Red has talked about to us many times, which he says, I don't like how much of a prude the Western world is. This is literally the concept of the anime is a world that is like in Japan, and it's super high strung on everything sexual related, so that there is this girl who's like almost like it's kind of like a playful terrorist organization that's all about like smutty talk and like being free and exploring these things together and not having any sort of bias against that stuff. So you're able to talk about all this degeneracy without being shamed for it necessarily. And there is one of the most fucking awesome, like the fucking white-haired chick dude is what I didn't know I needed in my anime repertoire, which is not yandere.
Lone Syndicate said the whole anime is basically a war on censorship.
Yes, it's a good way to put it. Watch until episode 4. Yeah, I'm about to say it gets wild. It is known to be like an anime that is up there for like being a lot. Like a lot happens, a lot trying to push against the border. But I was gonna say, not the main protagonist, the student council president lady. She is like a yandere without the yandere-ness, but also has moments of yandere-ness, but mostly not the yandere stuff. It's mostly just a person that is like, yeah, but also she has superhuman powers, which makes it terrifying. So it's a great premise. Anyways, it's one of those anime that's for the people who usually like anime, though, because it is a lot. Like when I say that, there's usually things that like a person who doesn't watch anime will probably be like, this is awkward, or this is cringe. But if you watch it enough, you just start to realize, oh, these are just tropes they're kind of like making fun of in a lot of ways. So it's still cringe probably, but it's not as bad, or at least doesn't feel as bad. Where is this person?
G-Red said Shimonita sounds enticing.
Yes, I think that one is literally like an anime made for you in a weird way, now that Lone said it. Good fucking shot, Lone. That was like a sniper, man. It's funny because the more I thought of the premise, the more I thought, yeah, I think that's actually like, yeah, speaks to a specific thing that Red feels, so it makes a sense. All right, now where? Is it back this way, or did we come out this way? I might have entered in this way. Well, maybe not. Is there something up above? Is this where the chest was? No. Oh, it was. Okay, yes, this is right. We don't hear.
McFlufferkin said found a My Anime list and video that have some decent suggestions for non-harem romance anime.
I feel like you are cutting out so many good, like, anime that are still harem-y, but they're like the main. Okay, so harem to me, like that to me is more awesome.
Lone Syndicate said, I mean,
Pause,
within the first 5 minutes of the show, the main heroine shouts, and I quote, "Kakadu my Hadada."
Yeah, it gets crazy. Meanwhile, she never actually does it, so she's kind of like one of these people. Anyways, but I was gonna say, fuck, what was I about to say? Shit, what did I just say? Actually, like literally just now. Fuck. It was some sort of thing about I should have definitely finished the sentence. The reason why, like, harem anime to me, if like I could see if a dude's like macking on 3 ladies, but if a dude's like, nah, I only care about this lady, and then all these other bitches just who keep coming at me, leave me alone. I'm just loyal, like that. Then that to me is still considered a non-harem, at least. Like, yeah, there's things, but the main character ain't playing games. You know what I mean? Also, to Kat's point about like my weird story that I still have in my mind and have slowly started to not write as much about, which I want to, but I can't find the time. Anyways, to me, I always like the idea of loyalty. So it's something that I don't think people talk enough about.
G-Red said I'd agree with that grin.
Yeah, but that, so long as there's that, gotcha. But yeah, I don't know. To me, man, a lot of stories, I don't feel like people talk about like the intrinsic value of loyalty. So instead, it's about like, but this person makes me feel really good, and that's what kills most people who are fucking annoyed with harem anime, because a lot of the times the person that you think like deserved the main character just wasn't given that main character. This is also why many people, including myself, hate to death when the trip of the childhood friend always loses. Now, when she's a fucking tsundere, burn her alive. I hate her so much. She can die. I none of that. You're just signing up for a nightmare.
By that definition, Love Hina is not a harem anime, when it quite literally is greater than.
What's Love Hina? I don't know. It sounds familiar, but I don't know what that is. Yeah, so long as the main protagonist is being loyal, then I don't really mind. But to round out that weird thought, just the idea of like basically this person was there with me from the very beginning, therefore I value them more than anybody, is to me something that I think most stories don't really talk about. It's always like how they make me feel, or like we had this romantic moment, and not like this person was there the whole time. They showed up. My life would be hollow without them. So on and so forth. Maybe there's not like butterflies or whatever romance, but there is like pure, beautiful, like loyalty, and I guess whatever, like, to me is a subset of loyalty, which is like a deep understanding of that person and all their flaws and all the beautiful parts of them as well. I don't feel like a lot of stories talk about that within their story, and that's something I would like to do with mine. So to me, the one character that I have him ending up with is actually, funnily enough, the orc girl, who I think is like the least perceived person that he'll end up with, actually. Because he ends up basically like training her essentially, and yeah, that's the premise of the story, where he helps like train her up. He also helps her tribe, and all these weird things within the story that I'm thinking of, and yeah, to me that's the thing. But I kind of like what Shoshinsei Tensei, whatever, the weird reincarnated anime that came out, where like there's a part in the anime, despite it being a harem and despite like Rita's being a fucking nightmare when it comes to loyalty, the canon ending is when Rita, I don't want to spoil, actually maybe I shouldn't say the spoiler, but he does have someone who he prioritizes as like the most important out of everybody, and most people know who it is just intrinsically, but yeah. Red says, "Oh my god, I love Hina. I only remember seeing the manga book in the school library."
Catman 11234 said, I wish you read fantasy books more. I'd love for you to read The Name of the Wind. It's the book I sent you the chapter from as an example of crazy good writing.
I think I gotta read that one as an audiobook, because for me it's like the crazy good writing is also like complicated.
Lone
for me.
Syndicate said, still kinda mad we never got a season 2 of Shimonetta.
Oh, for sure, everyone's pissed. Although I did hear some, I think there was drama, not drama, it was like sadness, where like the main girl who wrote the main voice actor, for the Japanese dub died, actually. So I think there was like some weird things where like there was hesitantness there. Also, I think that like that anime, I think like based on like things, I don't know. Yeah, I think honestly, I think there was a time when that anime came out where like we were just getting into like hyper politically correctness, essentially. And now I think that's severely died down. Even though I don't disagree with some of it. But yeah, where now I think. Yeah, now I think that there's a chance that those things could come back. And yes. Also, ladies and gentlemen, this is where... also, I would just like to point out that, once again, now that I know the plot of this game, it is very strange that we went and killed a psychopath underneath a bunch of caves. When, yeah, it makes much more sense that there's a deranged psychopath in, like, a cave system that is actually a Dark Brotherhood member, and we're just killing them. So, a problem. Anyways... But I have to go let my dog out because I'm watching puppies.
Said, yeah. Unfortunately, Japanese VAS are very much treasured, so they're not usually going to replace a voice actor or continue a series if one passes.
Yes, that's such a bummer, man. What if we get an English dub one, though? The English dub one didn't pass away. Maybe that's fucked up to say, I don't know, but I'm just like, come on, man. They would have wanted you to continue, maybe, probably, possibly, who knows? Is this where he sees us? This might be where Lucian's like, what the fuck? What are you doing? No.
Lone Syndicate said, just a reminder, we are 4 minutes away from an hour if you still want to swap to the BL4
We will be swapping,
tour.
but I do have to go let out a singular dog, and unless I come upstairs and there's a shit waiting for me. So I'll be back in a couple seconds. I will do the thing I never do, which is actually detonate an ad. So, anyways, I'll be back. Talk amongst yourselves. 1, 2, I gotta let the delay catch up. I'll be back. We're fine. Oh, my knees. Oh, we're fine. There was no turd. Yes, he was sleeping on the couch, so I didn't want to bother him. So I didn't let him out, though, but I'd probably need to in another 2 hours. I'll be safe and do an hour and a half.
Raidnade said, what the dog doing?
He was sleeping on the couch, so I feel like, I could, like, force him to go outside, but then if he doesn't do it, then I'm just like, well, what the fuck? This was an entirely waste of, like, 10 minutes. So, yes. But... let us move over to us rambling about Borderlands. We did kill that person. Let me make a save before I completely sign out. Oh, I do. Wrong one. Face cam. There. Save. New save. It is hilarious that there was a quest. That there was when I was typing in this quest name, it said bugged. The one that we were stuck on last time. And I was like, oh no, it was bugged. And then you go to read it, and the person was like, no, it's not bugged. It just doesn't tell you where the hell to go. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I probably should have looked how to beat it. Borderlands 4. Rafa. Skill. Tree. I wonder if Borderlands going to have their skills
Catman 11,234 said any React as well?
We might do a little bit of React, but this took us a long time yesterday, so I don't know how proficient we will be. I also might... Well, I'm not sure. Moxie also did a video, but there will be a guy in the corner. Shh, Moxie, shh. There will be a guy just off to the corner chilling, which might be fine. This. There we go. Good. I got a headache, man. Oh. Fucking heat stroke nonsense. Loop that. Go over here. Let's see. Weird. Why does he do it that way? Yeah, let's just use the one. It's weird, but it'll work. Alrighty. Oh! Let's do this. Alright, so we already made a video talking about good old Siren Queen Extraordinaire, but to me, Rafa was a little bit more interesting because of his skill trees. His skill trees seem like they both, like, you can understand what they're trying to do, and they're all doing pretty different things. Whereas I always felt like with the Siren Lady, every one of them kind of have like pet classes aspects and stuff like that, or like heavily doing with it was some like dot effects that seemed really powerful, but largely they seemed like there was like a lot of. At the end of the day, she's probably meant to like spawn in some stuff, and then she has a secondary ability which is about like scaling up dot damage and things like that. But yes, also, is this too loud? For me, it's a little loud. Let me turn it down a little bit. There we go. All right, let's see. Reminds me, I need to watch a review first. Impressions of BL4. Yeah, from a lot of what I've seen, I've heard people say that the impressions are really good, but the only thing that they're not so sold with is the mini-map that people are complaining about, and the performance was a little sussy, but that was also because they were using like the max settings, which was probably a problem. But yeah, outside of that, I've heard a lot of positive things. Yeah, the thing that I've heard people say that I thought was quite like ridiculous was people saying that what is it? Like this doesn't seem like, it seems like Borderlands 3.5, and I'm like, what? Like this looks nothing like Borderlands 3. To me at least, it looks like it's like completely different, especially when I see the like the enemy decoration and all these weird things. Anyways, but what I will say, what absolutely shocked me about Rafa and makes me super jazzed.
G-Red said minimap, or lack thereof. I'm in favor of not having a minimap.
Yeah.
I hate them.
Yeah, so people want the minimap back, and I kind of irks me with that because I don't mind this. This like general tiny little HUD in the top corner. I just don't like when people are like, I think we should just get rid of this and bring back the minimap. And it's like, well, why don't we just have options to where you can choose between a big-ass map in the corner, which I've always never really loved, or this. The minimap does help because it shows you where like legendaries are and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't really understand how that can be too much of an issue. Oh, the other criticism was that they're like the special like little Jarvis bot doesn't work great. But this is what I was gonna say. I was not expecting him to have like a Krieg-like roaming melee action skill, which is this like crazy digiblade, like jumping around. You can do lunges, you can do massive swings, as well as when you end it, it does like this massive dot. And this is the cool thing: when you finish going into your berserker state, you actually have like a bunch of lead up. I think it's like 15 seconds of a weird intrinsic buff that you get after using it, so you don't ever feel like you're like using your ult and then you're just like dead, like you just completely cut off your damage. So that's really nice. I think he also has like some cool alt augments where like he turns into like a Beyblade and just starts shredding things, you know. I'm probably going to play Rafa or maybe the Viking guy, depending on how his skills look like. Because the Digistruct blades look pretty cool, and I love Zane. Yes, he definitely seems like he's a mixture of Zane, but also... who were the other two that came to mind yesterday? I had much better insights yesterday. My brain was working perfectly. But this time, not so much. My teeth hurt. I don't know why. Anyways, Overdrive. When Rafa... Are we into his action skills? Oh, okay, so his action skills. So he has one action skill that basically... is him going to like a berserker state where he's running around like a roaming melee super, which is awesome. And then he has the one that I kind of like the most, at least, but it basically just summons these two giant cannons onto his arms, and they just start going to work. The reason why I like it is because they turn into like shotguns, they turn into like missile barrages, and they just look kind of cool. And also,
McFlufferkin said a bit of Athena, Wilhelm, and Zero, perhaps?
Yeah. I don't know if it's too much Zero, because I don't know. I haven't seen too many like stealth things with him or like assassin-y things with him. I've seen a lot of like tech things with him, but maybe I'm missing some skills. But anyways, so he has that, which is his like melee, and then he has where is it? Yeah, his melee, then he has his cannon arms, and then he has the one that everyone's in agreement of that's pretty shitty, but I think it's meant to be powerful at endgame. But basically, he just summons like this giant gun that will send like an orb at somebody, and it does like a kind of AoE. It can do a lot of things. It can like ricochet between people and shit, but people were just saying that like it's slow firing, so it's hard to connect with, and it just doesn't feel good. And then when you use it once, it's done. So I kind of get why people were saying that's pretty bad, but I also wonder if it's just like for. I guess yeah, no, the Siren Lady kind of had some good skills in each beginner column, but sometimes Borderlands is easier to spec one way
said,
and then
honestly,
go reset
they
and do another
finally
way.
achieved my favorite combination in a single Vault Hunter. Melee and shock element. Athena was close, but her elemental tree was for fire and shock, and separate from melee.
Yeah, I don't know what his other element is. I'm assuming what do you call it? I'm assuming it's shock and then something else, but I just don't know what the other one may be. Oh, corrosive maybe. Are we doing it, or is it? Yeah, we're doing it. Okay, we're. I hate how he fucking zooms in. It just makes me hard to track. I don't know if he's showcasing all the abilities. Overture, that, yeah. That's the blade one. J-Adults, don't do this to me. I guess I could just listen to him do it. That may be better.
Which deals shock damage to all marked enemies and ends the skill. Now, I'm not going to read it.
McFlufferkin said so he might be a shield buster and armor melter, depending on how you build him.
Okay. Shield buster or armor buffer? Maybe, yeah. We'll see. We'll get into the nitty gritty. Unleash Rafa's Blade Fury, which will deal shock damage and mark enemy targets. Oh yeah, that's another thing he does, where like he actually marks targets now.
How much damage you will do. All right, on to the first skill.
We have. Rafa gains increased gun damage and melee damage. Awesome. So this again is cool because I think he also has things that start feeding into melee in other ways, which we'll get to. But very cool. We also have this one, which is Rafa's action skill deals bonus corrosion damage. The longer this skill has been activated, the greater the damage bonus becomes. Now, why that's cool is because he has a skill later down the line that I think is an augment that basically makes it so that he can lose his action skill as long as possible if you have health to burn. I don't know if it actually stacks. I think it's the same degradation of your health, so theoretically you have some lifesteal. You can maybe have like a permanent alt access, which is pretty crazy.
Skill deals bonus corrosive damage.
I wonder if
the longer the skill has been active, the greater the bonus damage. Expedite, overdrive skill.
Hell yes. Okay. Grants Rafa further increased movement speed. Very cool.
So remember, this is your
very cool movement speed. When Rafa's damages an enemy with melee attack, his melee attacks gain a critical hit chance. This chance stacks, and all stacks are removed when Rafa's critical hits. And whenever what? Oh, I see. Yeah, I think Zane had something similar. Maybe when you deal damage or of any kind, you gain a stack. That basically increases your critical chance. So you basically will get, the more you shoot, the more times you do anything, the more times you'll eventually build up. I wonder if it's like universal, or if it's per enemy hit. Probably per enemy hit. Yeah. Okay. So if you have like, I gotta keep my head open with that one. I wonder if there's a special skill where like when he crits, he gets a special bonus, because otherwise that could be worth it. But I wonder. All right, his main attunement, or augment, sorry. Whenever Rafa...
McFlufferkin said I'm down for this combination. Fire was never something I enjoyed, and cryo, slag, radiation were all elements in flux with each entry. This might be my go-to main tree, but I'm curious about all.
Yeah, I really dug the canon one, personally. But I also love me a melee build, so that's why this character seems like he's more my speed. But anyways, augment. Again, Rafa's augments seem much better than hers. Let me see if I misremember that. When Rafa kills an enemy with his arc knife, when it's active, restores a portion of his maximum health capacity. Which again is pretty huge, considering again the degradation of your health can prolong your actual use of this. But it is an augment, so probably not, because I imagine that's going to be an augment as well. Whenever Rafa gains health, deals bonus corrosive damage with all attacks, and gains increased movement speed. This effect can stack up to 25 times. Golly, also 30 health extra for every kill. That's excessive. That is pretty good, actually. It's a lot of buffs also. Again, a lot of buffs compared to, what's her name? Explaining augments probably is what he's doing. A portion of Rafa's maximum health capacity and shield capacity is converted to that. Okay, so this is actually really cool. This is what Mo's had, where they take your was it shield? Yeah, it takes your health star and it puts it in your shield, which is cool. It's not that much, but still, that's probably 50 extra to mine, so it's a decent amount. It's You'll have much more tankier shields, which can actually instantly recover, which is always a better deal. And then we have this one, which I believe is the actual one that seems pretty crazy. Arc Dead Man Walking. Arc Knives, which is your roaming alt, does not end when the duration runs out. Instead, it will now end. It will only end, if you enter Fight for Your Life mode or activate Blade Fury. I don't know what that means. Maybe that's his. I think that's the thing. When you end your alt, he'll do like a spin, but that will end your alt. While Arc Knife duration is depleted, Rafa will lose health. Whenever Rafa's damages an enemy, he gains overshield. So you need to have some sort of way of repairing your health, but then you also are getting shield gain on every kill, and so long as you have some lifesteal, then your health should probably stay up. The one thing that I'm happy with, they introduced this in, I think, Wonderlands or something like that, but they had, like, this skill has diminishing returns, which has meant that, like, it didn't really matter. Like, you could, like, I hated that cap on it, which I haven't seen in any of these yet, so it makes it, to me at least, much more like, ooh, this is actually compelling. That skips. Yeah, they talk about how you get a little bit of overshield, and I think they actually have some gameplay. Also, it looks so cool, man, just to rip out the two blades, just pop, 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 pop. Crazy. Feels like a hyper version of Cyberpunk's Mantis blades. Maybe more like a... I think it's like a mantis. Yeah, more like... yeah. Praying mantis? I don't know. It just feels like they're long as shit compared to Cyberpunk's ones. Diamond Hands. Dealing melee damage grants Rafa a stack of Diamond Hands, gaining increased gun damage for every stack of Diamond Hands. I've never liked this skill in these games. It looks godly, like insanely good. You're getting 2... per thing, and it's gaining gun damage. Yeah, so that's going to be an insane amount of that. But I don't know. I've always hated when they're like, instead of doing the damage that you've built your entire team around, here's a random bit of gun damage that you didn't ask for. And it's just like, but I'm so incentivized. I like 800% more melee damage. Why am I not incentivized to just do more of that? Like, it's not making any sense. Yeah. Passive skill for Rafa. Rafa gains. There we go. Ooh, that synergizes. Okay, that makes more sense. Rafa's melee critical hits gain increased lifesteal. Okay, so we had a skill a couple things ago which will increase the chance of you critical hitting the more times you hit an enemy. So now whenever you critical hit, you'll increase lifesteal. So if, at 5 out of 5 it should be a decent amount, to where it probably will detonate pretty consistently. To where I bet those 3 skills play in a tandem. So at least those ones synergize. That's pretty cool. Especially if you're using like the roaming one a lot and you just want to roam around with a melee build for a long time. That seems like you can do it.
McFlufferkin said, I don't mind this. It should stack when in his action skill, and then when that runs out, he can swap to his guns in a pinch for up to
do a shit ton more damage.
200% damage.
Yeah. It definitely doesn't seem bad. I just generally don't love it. Like whenever they're like, for no reason at all, they're like, here's like 20% gun damage. Now, instead, they're like, here's 100 to 200% more gun damage. You're like, okay, that's enough. It's a good deal, actually. I'll take it. Also, GT, what's good, GT? GT says, with a live stream in 3 hours. Damn, that's soon. Praying, they have codes. Yeah, I need to refund some of my gems as well, my man. I need more Karth funds for Wave Band 3. You're going that deep? Damn. Let's see. Kill skill. Killing an enemy, freezes overdrive duration. What's overdrive? Oh, okay. So that's what that is. Okay, so I think when you end your action skill, you enter your overdrive state, which was that thing that has like a little bit of a buff that you get when you're done using your ult. So that will freeze, and that will keep it active every single time you get a kill. That's pretty good. Is it stack threats 3 times? Probably pauses it for 6 or 7 seconds. That's actually really good. Actually, substantially good. Wow.
GTID said, yes, indeed. I have Waveband too. We'll be skipping Lupa and getting Froliva.
Oh, man. I gotta go for Lupa.
Said Diamond Hands is shit. It buffs ranged damage until you hit an enemy with range. Then it quickly falls off.
Oh, is that what it said?
Based on previous. Quickly, you will have a 20% buff on first hit, 2 on second, 0 past that.
I see, because the decoration's so high.
McFlufferkin said it's a more manageable equivalent to Anarchy by not manually reloading. Just keep up the melee and then make sure to use the gun damage buff, then ramp up again.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's how it works. Let's see. Rafa gains increased gun damage and increased skill damage. The lower his health, the greater the bonus. Hey, I don't like that too much. I don't know how that really feeds in, because you're going to need to heal eventually. I get that it's supposed to yo-yo, unless there's some sort of way... Yeah, unless there's some sort of way that you can like lower your... Yeah, I don't know. The skills like this to me are weird.
Ravenade said, oh yeah, speaking of woo-wah stuff, I tried building Pity on Karth Banner and got S1 in 110 pull.
Ooh, Ooh, nice, man. That sounds good as hell. Good for you. C1, is it really good for her? I thought it was kind of okay. Still good to have, though. Any C1 and anything is nice. Let's move over a little bit. Okay. Hard Shell. Whenever Rafa's shield breaks, he instantly gains a portion of his maximum shield back as Overshield. This skill cannot be used again until Rafa's skill ends. Alright, so it's not that powerful, but it probably will stack up to 50% of your shield, or maybe a little bit less, which is not bad at all.
Said, interesting that this tree seems more like a berserker than the big Viking dude was presumed to be.
Well, that's what we'll see, because I still think this one seems... How do I put it? It seems like there was enough... Like, I haven't seen a lot of damage yet in the skill tree. I've seen them trying to, like, pivot a little bit, like, go back and forth. Where like you can do some melee, you can then get some benefits from like shield resistance and a little bit of tankiness from surviving, but I haven't seen that like Krieg level
Gnawing
damage.
feet is said depends on how the shield buff works, Grin. If that puts you at effective 30% health, that will fuel that skill pretty well.
Yeah, maybe.
GTID said Waveband 1 gives you an 100% CD damage buff.
Oh, really? Oh, cool. What's CD mean? Crowd control buff? Oh, wow. Oh, never mind. That sounds great. Shit. Shit. Also, Rafa looks like a lot like the protagonist from Surge, which I'm all for. Yeah, I've heard good things about Surge too. All right, let's see. Yeah, so finally we're getting into the actual like subclusters. So this is the one to the left. These are always like to me the best, but it's a really good insight from the first little chunk we just looked at. A lot of it is like health, critical hitting, and like making your augments that essentially allow you to kind of do things. But all of it's his action skill tree, so all of this is really selfishly into the melee skill tree, which I love how deep they're going, because I always hated when like you can't go that crazy. Critical damage is CD. Gotcha. Critical gotcha. So it's not crowd control. I don't know why I said crowd control with my brain wasn't thinking. I've worked all day. I have heat stroke in my head. Don't judge me. All right. So what is this one about? All right, so the first skill is whenever Rafa applies heavy arms mark, which I believe is just by hitting them with his melee when he's in his alt stance, or critical hits an enemy, again coming in handy for that like force critical skill that was in the beginning of the skill tree. An enemy whenever his action when his action skill critical hitting an enemy with his action skill, they explode in a corrosion lob projectile. Ooh, the longer Rafa's skill has been active, the more corrosive projectiles go. That's so sick. Because there was another skill. I guess no, that was an augment. Okay, yeah, that really synergizes with the like long life one. So the longer this keeps up, the more you're gonna. Yeah, I feel like that's what you gotta do. So this is definitely like you're becoming almost like it seems like he's more AOE. So like he doesn't seem like he's gonna be doing the highest impact damage, which kind of makes sense if you have like a brawler, jacked Viking guy, which maybe he's like good at single target damage, and then Rafa is good at like probably still good at single target damage, but probably is best when you're focusing on adds around everything to melt them. But it happens whenever there's a critical hit. It's only a 1 second cooldown. See, this is what I meant by like Rafa's skill tree to me is much more exciting, is because like that you can gamify. It's also 6 projectiles, so when you eventually like last long enough with this up. You're going to be killing somebody or getting a crit.
Yeah, this tree seems to be a defense shredder. Melee for shields, ranged for armor.
Yeah, I didn't even pay attention to the range armor thing. But yeah, like this to me, if you subsist in your ult for long enough, every single time you hit an enemy, you don't even have to get a kill or anything like that. You just hit an enemy, you get a crit. It's going to spawn a bunch of corrosive projectiles, which spawns up to 6. That's pretty crazy. Now maybe the damage isn't crazy, but we'll see. We'll have to see. But to me, that's super compelling. At least you can gamify it with a 1 second cooldown. So you can just, like, again, if you get like 3 critical hits back to back, then holy shit. I feel like there's class mods that can increase critical rate and stuff like that. So that's a really strong. That's not even like an augment. That's just a passive skill. Anyways, arc knives. I still don't know if we're gonna have to commit to certain skill trees. I feel like there's a high chance we might. Anyways, arc knives. Action. Arc knife attacks deal shock, melee, splash damage. Rafa deals increased splash damage up to 50%. Gotcha. So whenever you're meleeing now, you're creating like a singularity. Is that what it's saying? Probably. Very cool. That's an augment though. Is that as good as the previous augment? That means you're gonna have to. Yeah, I don't think so. The splash damage is neat, but is it as good as permanently being in this state? I don't think so. Yeah, that's a little corny.
Lone Syndicate said off
Maybe.
topic, but in WoWa it's funny how the one time I want an HP main stat THR
Can't get it.
gain gives me everything
Yep,
but
attack,
HP.
critical damage, all this shit. Yep, I know that pain too, my man. All right, what's the next one? Rafa gains increased splash damage and increased splash damage critical hit chance. Yeah, these are kind of cannibalizing each other, at least from the beginning of the skill tree. Like they play into this new augment, but this is the augment that I think makes this skill so powerful. Anyways, kind of neat. Pressing that while Arc Knife are active, or Rafa re-triggers his action skill, drains a portion of Rafa's shield, and deals that much as shock damage to nearby enemies. There's some synergy with things we've seen previously in the skill tree, or by getting hits and stuff like that, we can get shield back and stuff like that, so they kind of synergize, but I thought a lot of them had cooldowns, so I don't know how...
GTID said, I'm dead. I was able to roll HP % on all my echoes, but they were low. They have double crits, so I'm sticking with
Yeah,
it.
good enough until you can get better, for sure. Use what you got until you can get better. Shield drain up to 20% of your max shield. Yeah, it's okay. I'm not loving the shock build. Maybe I'm just not seeing the vision. Whenever Rafa deals splash damage, deals bonus damage there. Yeah, it's kind of got gauge elements for sure, based on the damage dealt. Actually sounds pretty powerful. Passive. Marked enemies killed by Rafa's leave behind a corrosive hazard. So this is the shit that I think is like always going to be these like super builds. That like no one really knows, because it just says leaves behind a corrosive hazard without giving you a damage scaling number. So that scales off of world scaling, then that skill that's maybe okay at level 1 can become disgustingly insane at like level 5. Level 50, sorry. So that to me could be a sleeper hit. But also I feel like that still plays into like, I would skip all these and just go for this one and get whatever I can here and then get that passive. And now you're still playing within that syndicate of like this one, and then the other corrosive one that also stacks on that way. Anyways, what is this? So this is the capstone for his left column. Activating Blade Fury, which is your alt, causes Rafa to spin his blades like a Beyblade, creating a singularity that draws in all marked enemies and other nearby enemies while dealing continuous shock damage whenever this attack kills an enemy. Overdrive grants increased action skill cooldown. Okay, so that makes more sense. Okay, that adds up a little bit. It doesn't scale perfectly, because there's a lot of stuff that says the lower your health. No, it doesn't say lower your health. It says the longer you're in your alt. Okay, so that's one of those weird things where like maybe for the first little bit you're going to use this augment to kind of force yourself to stay in this like roaming alt thing. But then eventually when you get down here and are able to get to the capstone, then yeah, it's actually worth getting all these AoE things, because you're able to persist long without having to deplete your health. And instead you can just use it through this capstone. That makes more sense. Okay, so that's the vision. The vision is like, as soon as you get the capstone, all these other skills make a lot more sense. But until you get that capstone, I'd say stick with the weird health drain heal ability. But that makes a lot more sense, especially considering like the singularity. I am curious about, like, it says you cause a singularity which will pull enemies to you. I wonder if that literally like teleports every enemy who's marked to you, or if it just does a slight pull. If it just does a slight pull, that's kind of corny. But if it literally like yanks people to the location forcibly, then that's huge. And that can be like great. And that makes sense why the AoE was there in the previous things. That's pretty compelling. Yeah. I wonder if your splash damage also counts as can crit. I would assume so. So if it can, then you're constantly tapping into that like critical chance of sending out like a corrosive orb. That sounds really good, that one. Yes, did we already read this one? I think we did. Wait, what? No, this is a different one. This is the second column, I believe. Maybe not. There we go. And damn you. I might have to go check on the dogs in a minute here, guys, but we'll try to finish up the skill tree and then I'll check. Rafa gains increased ordnance damage. So this was the one that I was a little bit more interested in. I'm really interested in ordnance damage. I think it's really going to be fun, a good time. Anyways, Rafa gains increased ordnance cooldown, which I hope is enough. Every single time in Borderlands there has been a cooldown thing. It rarely makes it to the point in which you can actually use the thing all the time, which to me is the only reason why you do it. Like, it's like, I don't care if I can have my thing, like, instead of 50 seconds, it's 30 seconds. Like, I'm still without it for 30 seconds, and it's not like I'm just going to look at the enemy and be like, hi there, please don't bash my head in. No. So the only thing that cooldown can hopefully amount to is where like you can actually shave it off enough to where you can almost like back to back it, or only have to subsist for like maybe 10 seconds. Even that's too long. So yeah.
GTID said her health is 50k plus attack 1226 or 118%, county route 75%,
Damn.
and CD 272%, but I have her at waveband 2, so I don't believe I'll be mid-maxing her.
I'm about to say you still have pretty good crit for having so much HP and shit. Damn, man, decent ER. Fuck. All right, what's this bot? Whenever Rafa activates his death. Whenever Rafa activates his dash, which is his left click, he leaves behind a grenade.
McFlufferkin said, I guess Rafa is Truxican. Before they gave him that helmeted hood, he looked more likely to be Indian, maybe Middle Eastern, but I guess he's space Latin.
Ooh, he's Latin, okay. But anyways, he leaves behind a grenade every single time he activates his dash. If he has a grenade equipped, you use that grenade instead. Enemies damaged by this grenade become marked. Yeah, man, the more I read these things, the more I feel like they have to be pigeonholed. Like, I don't know if you can go down here and then go down here. Because if not, why wouldn't you just get that and then get the marked ones, and then like you run around, you do a dash, you drop a grenade, it marks everyone, then you activate this alt that will pull everyone into a singularity. Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe it's just if it's just benefit, then hell yeah, we just win, But we'll see. Also, there's no cooldown on it. Again, see, this is what I mean. This is what I mean, man. Where like the fucking Siren has like a ton of like every maybe 15 seconds. Rafa's like, you can do this back to back if you want. You just be dropping a grenade. So this is a weird like melee grenade build that Rafa has, which to me is super compelling. Use a grenade, enemies damaged by this one were marked. Whenever Rafa applies a mark to an enemy, it applies an additional mark. What does that mean? Whenever Rafa applies a mark to an enemy, apply an additional mark. What does it do? Just to apply another mark? Okay, I guess maybe it means it resets it? I don't know. Who knows? Very neat. Was that a passive skill? Yeah, I think that's better than the current splash damage passive skill, especially if you just have good grenades. I mean, I think that grenades kind of act as a decent splash damage.
said, I'd say it's more a question if we can dip into multiple trees. But each of these branches likely require enough investment to unlock their respective capstones, which takes a lot of points.
I feel like it's way more likely that we're going to be able to get into other skill
Lone
trees.
Syndicate
Because
said
like,
melee grenade build sound kind of interesting.
Yeah, melee grenade build. Yeah, that sounds fun. I feel like it's way more likely that we're going to be able to dip into like each skill tree because they have so many synergies with like just even the first couple within their lot. I'd be if I could bet on anything, I'd bet that we're going to be able to dip into like every skill tree because you've always been able to do that in Borderlands as well. But this is the first time where we've had this like weird pathing things at the very bottom end. So like, yeah, like getting like essentially we have 3 capstones times 2, essentially, like another thing. It's gonna be crazy. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, no, you gotta pick your poison there. But I would hope that we could have fun, Anyways, overdriven skill. Rafa deals bonus damage of his weapon's element with all skills and ordnance while. That's insane. That's really good. Yeah, so you're getting 50% and then some change, probably more, of ordnance damage into your skill thing. It deals bonus damage of his weapon's element with his skills and ordnance damage. Oh, because you're doing a high. Yeah, that seems really good. That seems a lot better than the splash damage effects. Especially if it applies to all elements, so that applies to your grenades amp and all that other stuff. Huh. What's that skills and stuff? I misunderstand that a little bit. But anyways, booming business. Yeah, I think this is the grenade tally that I've seen. Yeah. Whenever Rafa critical hits an enemy, he gains a chance to spawn a free grenade, but it's on a 12-second cooldown. But it does decrease every single time, so I could see that being like if that can come down to like the 4 seconds, and that's actually pretty huge. Now, if Rafa has a grenade, so is it critical? It's just critical hits. A grenade equipped spawn a grenade based on that. So yeah, you could like dash into someone and then just start like piecing them up. And if you get lucky and you crit twice, then you just drop 2 grenades in their lap. Yeah, because it's a 50% chance to get a thing, so it's a high likelihood to get a grenade actually that spawns. That's huge. I wonder if does it say if Rafa has a grenade equipped, it'll spawn that grenade? Yeah, I wonder if like you get it to detonate, but it loses the 50% chance, then it will go on cooldown, or if it will only go on cooldown when you actually plop out a grenade. Because
Lone Syndicate said again, compared to some of those Siren cooldown bro Rafa eating
good. Yeah, it's definitely not like his crazy numbers. I think some of the Sirens ones, there's like that's stacks, like a lot of stack skills.
Said this can be nutty depending on how grenades work in BL4, since they share the ordnance slots with heavy weapons now.
Yeah, the only good news to me is though that like ordnance damage also could apply. Like say if there's a ranged enemy, right? Like this is the issue with melee builds, where like say there's a ranged enemy and you're like, well, guess I'm fucked. There's a boss that's flying around, I'm screwed. Whereas you still have your ordnance weapons, you still have all these other things. That's the only thing I will say that this is kind of limiting, is where this skill tree had like the corrosive orbs that could help you like get around the fact that there's ranged enemies. But I haven't seen a good solution to that yet, but I could see there being like class mods that convert your ordnance damage or your shield or whatever to like range damage, or a gun that does that. So I could see that being a thing. Whenever Rafa deals ordnance damage, he also increases his gun damage and melee damage. This affects stacks. That's awesome because, yeah, you basically spawn a grenade and then you stack some of this up. Pretty good. 8 seconds duration, that's not bad. How many times does it stack? I guess maybe it doesn't? Or maybe it has endless stacks. What is this? Passive skill.
McFlufferkin said, I'm guessing the longer cooldowns for Vex are a matter of potency. A lot of these low cooldowns for Rafa have a lot lower bonuses per point.
Yeah. Which, again, to me, I would much rather have. I'd rather have something that I can, like, detonate and, like, gamify than something that just, like, it kind of just works, but it's not as percussive, I guess, or, like, silly. Overdrive skill. While overdrive is active, Rafa may use grenades while on cooldown. What? Oh my god. See, okay, yeah. So this I forgot about this thing. I thought this is what kills me a little bit, is that this just may be perfect for me. I don't know. I get to play melee and I get to play with grenades. I love both those builds. But I was like, why the fuck is the Giga Grenade build in the fucking melee skill tree, man? Doesn't he have one that like gives you healing or lifesteal based on a percentage of something? Yeah, there was something that helps you like stay alive. So that to me is kind of cool. So long as you can get enough health, 10% is not that bad. 10% health is not crazy. The one lady like sacrificed like 20 for like a wave instead of a grenade that just spans out. And you got to think each time those grenades hit something, I think they can crit. I think that was the thing that requires them or causes them to detonate.
G-Red said agreed. I'd much rather have something I can use often per encounter, rather than like once per encounter.
Yeah, or manipulate, right? Like that's why I always think.
McFlufferkin said it makes sense. His hands will be occupied with melee, so grenades become his ranged AoE solution.
Oh yeah, if there's like tracker grenades and shit like that, that's huge. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Especially if like, in this instance, hopefully there's still ways for you to heal. I forgot what the healing skills were. Like, I thought there was a couple though. Anyways, that's an amazing passive. That's like Moses' thing. Does anything criteria there? Every time a grenade is used this way, it costs... Oh, no. There it is. It costs more health until Rafa's grenades fully cool down. Dang. So it does, so it says 10 health, but it probably will cost more health depending on how long the cooldown of your grenade is, which the longer the cooldown, probably the stronger the grenade. So, I don't love that, but whatever, what can you do? All right, this is the capstone, baby. And we also have another skill after this, in the same column. Inferno Protocol. While arc knives are active, Rafa's exosuit stores all damage dealt to him. The exosuit then heats up and continuously deals a small amount of fire damage to him. He's Krieging right now. Additionally, Rafa's melee attacks deal bonus fire damage for a portion of all the damage dealt to Rafa.
Said looking forward to the Frolova in-depth gameplay leaks. I believe they will show her weapons soon or drip market another resonator.
Yeah, I haven't seen her yet.
My fault for always coming in with the wuthering topic.
No, it's okay. It's okay. What do you call? I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen the gameplay of that character though yet. I'm curious what it'll be. The heats up that continually deals damage to small and fired. Additionally, Rafa's melee attacks now deal bonus fire damage. Damage dealt. It also dealt an enemy has them. Oh, I see. So if an enemy's marked, then they deal more damage. Gotcha. So wait, a portion of all damage dealt to Rafa is like shared to marked enemies. Yeah, man. The more I think about it, I think that's impossible. I think we can't get all three of these. I had a feeling the other day, but this is way Unless he's just the fucking best, because he has so many, like, out of all the characters, he has the most synergies I've seen.
McFlufferkin said this is also a bit like Athena and her shield, absorbing and throwing back out the damage absorbed.
Yeah, but like if you can imagine marking a bunch of targets with like one of the skills here which did that, and then I guess you could only choose one capstone, right? Oh, okay, so I guess that's the limitation. I gotta relax a little bit. Okay, I think this one did something special, but I think that was... You couldn't have both. Okay, that makes more sense. I did think they'll let us have it eventually, like in DLC 2 or something. They'll be like, all right, here's fucking 5 augments and shit. Go nuts. What was the last bit? Using Blade Fury causes Rafa to consume all stored up damage and deals bonus fire damage based on stored damage. The portion of all damage dealt will be returned as to Rafa's health. What does that mean? When using Blade Fury, causes Rafa to consume all of the stored damage dealt. It deals bonus fire damage based on the stored damage. A portion of the damage dealt is returned. I don't understand the last bit there. I'm kind of curious how that's... I can't think really like properly right now, so I can't think of what that's trying to dictate that it's trying to cycle. What's the last Pooba? Also, 20% damage on enemies that are marked is just nice. There's one last capstone. Here we go. A portion of all fire damage dealt. Wait, what? A portion of all fire damage Rafa deals also deals bonus fire ordnance damage. That's so cool. It is definitely like a melee grenade build. That's so fucking neat. I still haven't seen any build that's gonna solve Rafa's problem with ranged. Like, yeah, I get maybe his dash. Although I don't think you can infinitely dash to people. Maybe he's like 0, where you need to have an enemy in your reticle, and then you can like infinitely climb up to them. Maybe that'd be neat. That way he could actually deal with ranged enemies. But yeah, that's a really fun skill tree. I think if I was gonna play him with this skill tree, I might go that. I think it's also gonna be the stronger build to start out with, or skill tree to start out with. We still have one more skill tree in this column, or the cluster in the right column. Check out. This, I have to go check on my dog. This could be 5 seconds, or this could be 10 minutes. I have to go let him out. I don't want to claim shit. So yeah, I'm watching dogs. I'll be back. In fact, have this play out. I'll keep the cursor here though, so I don't forget where my place is. If you want to breeze by some stuff, I'll still be able to hear you. So if you want to talk to me, we should be able to talk. Anyways, all right, back. He's fine. He's fine. Snack time is a good time, but he is fine. Ooh, ah. Oh. All right, where were we? We were before we got to this last cluster. We got to that one. Good fire ordnance damage. Yeah, that one to me is definitely looking up. I really hope, man. I'm like, you know what's bothering me? Not bothering me, but I have no idea what the tiny like Mollywan girl is. We know she's gonna be like an elemental synergist essentially, but like, I just have no idea what place she is gonna conquer. Like I'm really hoping she's like an ordnance queen, who has like grenades or some shit. I really hope that's her build, but it worries me when Rafa starts doing like grenade stuff, and I'm hoping there's just like, yeah, there's many characters who can tap into grenade fun, you know. But yeah, I'm also even more curious about what the barbarian guy is gonna be. I kind of worried about the barbarian guy. I feel like he's gonna be very, what's the word, like. I think he's gonna have all of the Well, there's two ways you could go. It could either be he's going to be the amalgamation of all the like Wonderland's melee, which were terrible, like the giant like smash a hammer into the ground, like you jump up in the air and you smash a hammer into the ground. Terrible, awful fucking like cost. It's on cooldown for a long time. You barely ever use it. Yeah, just not a good like skill value. I'm worried he's going to be all of those. But if they were like, well, what if we didn't just give this, like, what if we gave this like 6 charges? Or what if we gave this like the ability to spam out in like consecutively 3 times or something? Like, there are ways you can make that feel fun and satisfying and feel like comparable to all these other alts. Like a roaming alt is so valuable because it's just consistent damage over a longer time horizon. So yeah, I'm worried for him a little bit because I don't know. Rafa seems to have a lot of what I'm kind of hoping for, like a melee character, which is like a roaming super. Anyways, this is the next one.
McFlufferkin said, from what we've seen thus far, Moonboots has a unique heavy ordnance weapon, and Viking has a fire and axe pair of axes.
Ooh, that means I hope Moonboots is ordnance driven, because I feel like, yeah, with them having that, like, the respec of the ordnance system, I think it'd be cool to have a character that, like, maximizes them. Also, like, if it was she kind of does give me like a Moe's vibe. So if she's literally supposed to be like kind of like Moe's, but without the with not just with grenades, but with all big heavy weapons, that to me is exciting. You know, I just hope she's not too like support class driven. You know. Sorry, gang, I was dehydrated as hell. I might take a Tylenol. All right, we got Rafa deals increased corrosive damage while his action skill is active. The longer it has been active, the greater the bonus. Okay, that's the same skill that we had in the other thing, except it was this skill seems much better because at least it's a range thing. Am I reading that right? Rafa does increased corrosive damage while the actually, yeah, it's the same thing. Which is a greater bonus. Not bad. Not bad at all. Arc Knife dash attack is replaced by Caustic Leap. Pressing this will cause Rafa to leap forward and create basically stomps on the ground and puts a bunch of acid. He just drops a deuce and just a nightmare. This is neat though. Whenever a mark is removed from an enemy, it explodes in a corrosive nova. Well, we had something else that like hinted at the fact that you could like reapply a mark, and I wonder if that does that. So that could synergize with that if we can tap into both of these like capstone skill trees. Whenever a mark is removed, it creates a nova thing. Very neat. That one's okay. It's still an augments. Augments are such a commodity. I'm not sure if it's that good to replace some of the like the infinite roaming ones. I replaced Caustic Leap, pressing that. Yeah. We got Rafa gains increased action skill duration. Kind of nice. Until we get something that recovers it. I don't know about it though. Whenever overdrive skill, which I think is his thing that happens after he uses his ult, Rafa gains health regeneration, not bad, based on how much overdrive time is remaining. Got it. So the lower this thing, the more the healing, I bet. Press that during Arc Knife grants increased overdrive duration. This bonus is reset whenever Rafa activates a skill. Like what? Pressing that during grants increased override duration. Okay. Weird. I guess this increases the duration of your overcharge state. I don't know. Capstone already. Wow, that was a fast skill tree. That one did not have as much bells and whistles. It feels like a little, it feels a little lacking anyway. Whenever Rafa performs a melee attack while Arc Knives is active, fire an acid stream glider at an enemy in his view. Whenever Rafa performs a melee attack while Arc Knife is active, okay, so he basically every time you melee, I think you shoot at a glider, a stream glider dealing corrosive damage based on the number of total enemies marked. In addition, killing an enemy with Arc Knife is active, restores action skill duration. Activating Blade Fury causes Rafa to fire a volley of acid stream gliders in front of him. Like a knives? That's kind of cool. I don't get that last part though. So whenever Rafa performs a melee attack while is active, fires an acid. So I guess that's okay. That's one part. So when we do a melee, we now throw an acid stream. Got it. But in addition, acid stream gliders deal corrosive damage based on the number of enemies marked. Okay, so you need to mark a bunch of enemies, and that'll increase the amount of corrosive damage you're doing with this little throw. But then when you end your action skill, which will activate this thing called Blade Fury, I believe. it will spew out a bunch of these like homing drones of acid. Kind of sounds amazing, man. What's the other perk? That one sounds pretty neat. I don't know if it's as good as the center or the left one, but not bad. Again, it kind of is a solution for the range problem, but we'll see.
McFlufferkin said, sounds like throwing glaives, or maybe like the bird build Flack
Ooh, a
has.
bird build would be cool. Yeah, I wonder what they actually look like if it's just a bunch of little nodes. Anyways, Rafa gains increased skill damage with skills, and longer his action skill has been active, the greater the bonus. Yeah, he's a lot of skills that function around him to staying in his action skill a long time. I wonder if there's like, it's so much so to where like, besides this skill and this skill, and assuming we can't tap into this skill, because sometimes maybe we have to choose an allegiance. Maybe there's a class mod that like gets him his skill back, because it's a lot. Like a lot of it seems like you want to stay in your skill for as long as humanly possible, and I wonder how long you can push it. You know, I don't know how long like the degradation of him using his thing is. If it ramps up, then it's a boss job. But if not, then we maybe have hope. You know. Anyways. That was Rafa's first, Rafa's one of his skill trees, which is very compelling. That is his roaming melee build. Super compelling. But outside of this one, well, I love melee, so this is a great build. This is like super awesome. This is the only one that kind of seemed like it was less spicy than all these other ones. Amazing build. Like, this is what I meant by Rafa, where like this one turns him into like a consistent, like, staying in your alt form and just meleeing to death everyone, which is awesome. Also doing splash damage, which is nice. Then we have this one, which is all grenade based.
Said this tree seems to be melee via the action skill centric, so it makes sense that it's all about keeping it going as long as possible.
Yeah, but sometimes
let's see what his other two offer.
Yeah, sometimes you get like a jab in there or something, right? I will say I was happy to see not a lot of like gun conversion skills. We only had one, and it seemed like it was making up the difference of like 5, which is nice. But I'm super excited to see the one that I think, based on my memory, was actually the one I was the most excited for. I probably will go back and forth, but there's something cool about me about this. Okay, so well, fuck, maybe we shouldn't read this one yet. I don't want to. This is the shitty one. This is the one that everyone is kind of like, meh. Which is yeah, it's your shitty cannon ability. Is this the skill? We're not doing this one. This was the one I thought we were gonna do. Oh, no, we're doing this one. Okay, never mind. We'll do this one first. Should we skip and do the other one first? Because this one I feel like is pretty shitty, at least. Let's just see, I guess. We'll probably maybe make this quick. This is the skill at least, which I think you can have other skills. So you could just not use this one, but use the skill tree. But basically, you shoot this giant, like, little orb that slows down. Sorry, it's like a hit. It's not a hit scan weapon, so it's slow to hit your target. You get 3 charges, but it's on a long cooldown.
McFlufferkin said so. His blade tree has a passive or augment that gives a mini version of his Apophis lance.
A mini version of his Apophis lance? What's that? Did I miss something? Projectile speed and all that stuff. Yeah. Ugh. I didn't like this one. Even just the look of it was kind of corny. All right, here we go. Here we go. What is this skill tree? I have a feeling that this skill tree is like a bridge that kind of just gives you bonus shit all around. That's good for every skill tree. Possibly. Anyways, Rafa gains increased reload speed. Whatever. What do you call it? Overdrive skill. I feel like I skipped one. Yeah, we did. Overdrive skill. Rafa regenerates ammunition while overdrive is active. Very cool, actually. Very neat. I wonder if that's just generally throughout your entire magazine, like so all of the guns you have equipped, if it's just going to start recovering ammunition, or if it's just with a guns magazine that you have. In the pre-sequel, it was the gun magazine you have, but we'll see. Very neat. That's a good skill. Overdrive skill. Rafa gains increased fire damage. Further increasing fire damage while overdrive is active. Or fire rate. That's not bad. 3 out of 3. It's not that much. It's not that much is the only issue. I guess it does stack with 2, but it's still only like 10. There's some skills that gave people like 50 or something. Anyways, whenever Rafa reloads his current equipped gun, he gains action skill cooldown rate. This affects stacks. Yeah, that's kind of some bullshit though. It's saying you can get 100 stacks, but they degrade in 8 seconds unless you have like a crazy fast like double barrel shotgun where you can drop a mag and reload again. Although that's a little more compelling.
Said, my guess is this is his gun tree, almost Gunzerker with a special offhand weapon.
Yeah, but
I imagine this will be a sleeper hit tree. Not as flashy, but quite strong.
Yeah, but wouldn't his other one be Gunzerking? Because he
said, I
summons
returned.
2,
Did I miss any good skills?
for his, not really. I felt like the melee tree that we just seen, his first column and his second column were both the most interesting. The second column seemed fine. Or third column, sorry. Third column seemed fine. But now we're on to his, the one that people don't really like because he just has like a giant little orb gun that he fires. But this one I think is really good. This is like, it is two leagues deep at least. But that one I could see being really good to just make use of all the other ones. So there's like a tiny time horizon, which you're going to be using his normal running a roaming state, to where if you had this, then that'd be amazing. You could just pop your stuff and then keep reloading. Like that'd be great. And like every time you reload, you're getting cooldown, and that cooldown is actually, I think, substantial, which is 4 per stack. So yeah, if you were able to reload like a handful, and that can go all the way up to that, so that's like almost like 10. Yeah, that could be really good, I think. It's like 40% cooldown at a limited amount. And you can also switch to a gun and just quickly like reload, and just keep stacking that until you get your thing back.
McFlufferkin said also, he's a former Tadiori employee, so reloading was their shtick. His melee tree is a berserker. This is a gunzerker.
Oh, I see. I didn't know he was a Tadior employee. Well, damn. I don't think I've seen too many, like, Tadior weapon allegiance. Maybe they can't, because everything's like, yeah. Anyways, whenever Rafa consumes a charge, this is an augment, by the way, so it's going to be it should be good. Whenever he consumes a charge of his action skill, which is like this little gun that he fires, he gains increased action skill cooldown. This bonus is increased for every charge consumed. So I guess the idea is that you're supposed to, like, spam these out. Like, so shoot all of your things, and you'll get... Does it say it stacks? I don't know if it stacks. Maybe. This bonus increases it for every charge. Yeah, so I guess the idea is like if you want to nuke all of your items, you're going to get much more cooldown back faster. I could see this being good, but not at the start. I think like eventually we get some skills, I think, that augment his actual gun itself to do something unique, which that to me is a little more interesting. But we'll get to that eventually. Here we go. Activating action skill grants Rafa health regeneration. You know what this character is? This skill tree is literally every augment or anoint that existed within Wonderlands, which was just use your thing and then you'll get all of these bonuses. Just quickly activate your action skill. It doesn't have to do damage and you'll just gain all of these like massive gains. Activating action skill grants Rafa health regeneration for a small amount of time. Doesn't look like that much though. Is it for a long time? For a fucking long time. 8 seconds is a lot. Anyways, this is another augment. Apothis Lance, which I believe is his gun, gets an additional charge. And additionally, whenever Rafa consumes 4 or more charges, he gains increased action skill proficiency. What the F does that mean? Does that mean it does more damage? What the heck is that? Also, Luke says, I'm watching some of your old Let It Die content because I'm replaying the game, and thank you so much for the information. Thank you so much for finding any value in it, man. I appreciate you enjoying it, and I hope you enjoy the game.
Said potency, so yes, more damage.
More damage, is that what that means? Gotcha. It's not bad, 100 damage. Is it worth an anoint, though, or like an augment? 4 is pretty good. It lasts 35 seconds. That's not bad. I feel like it's a little bit better than what we just looked at. Not bad. So far, this skill tree has been unoffensive, and I haven't seen anything that's terrible, but I haven't seen anything that like is exciting. But again, like Fluff said, maybe that's the point. Kill skill. Whenever Rafa kills an enemy, he gains increased anoint cooldown, ordinate cooldown rate. Now we're talking. It's only 9%, which will probably be around. Actually, it'll be around like 40 to 40%, something, for 12 seconds. On anoint cooldown? Okay. Now you have my attention, alright? That's not bad. That doesn't sound bad at all. I missed that one, goddammit. This one's kind of always weird, but like based on the... Yeah, it's funny because he has a skill that says like the more you reload, the more you do better damage, and then he has a skill like this, which is the first shot of your weapon
said the
deals
melee
more damage.
Tree is more interesting, mostly because it's shock-based. But this doesn't seem bad for a gun.
Yeah,
cooldown.
To me, the melee skill tree was more exciting because I feel like it had more like it changed the way I seen the skill tree, or like it seemed like there was something I could manipulate. This is all just like a really good stat bonuses for me, which I don't really find her as exciting. At least maybe we might get to that eventually. But yeah, it seems like a lot of those two skills play into the fact that you could have like a double barrel shotgun that does really well, or whatever weapon could possibly exist. Because yeah, there's manufacturers now, so there probably would be one that was like no magazine size. Anyways, overdrive skill. Rafa gains increased weapon handling while the weapon and action skill while overdrive is active. The longer overdrive has been active, the greater the bonus. I don't really know what this means. I'm also confused on what overdrive is. I feel like that's his intrinsic skill, But I thought that was a skill that was only given to him on his melee tree, but maybe he has a passive skill where whenever you use your action skill, it gives you like this bonus time period thing. Whenever Rafa activates or re-triggers an action skill, his gun consumes no ammo. That's a passive skill. That's really good. Yeah.
McFlufferkin said I could definitely see dipping into this tree to buff up the melee action skill.
I would say that's really good, but instead we have ordnance that are like all the grenade, all the like massive weapons. I think are going to be tied to your ordnance. So I wonder how that works. Like, do you think that like, well, I mean, is it when you finish your ordnance damage, like ammunition, it's done? So would this still be valuable? It seems really good. I just wonder how that works with ordnance damage now. I wonder if like when you deplete your ordnance ammo, it's on cooldown, or when it just goes on cooldown because you've been holding it for too long, it goes on cooldown. Regardless, that might work. Yeah, so you shoot your gun and you shoot a bunch of bullets, you explode some grenades or something like that, or throw some bombs. It does say gun ammo though, so I wonder how that actually plays. That seems good. I just wonder if it's as good now that we don't have like big heavy weapons in our main slots, or if that like it also applies to our ordnance damage or ordnance weapons. Who knows? Whenever Rafa, because if it's ever 2 seconds, that's kind of whatever, unless you have like a crazy sniper, and even then. Whenever Rafa throws a grenade, he gains increased action skill cooldown rate. Oh fuck. Is this it? No, wait. No, okay, stop. This is left cluster and is one thing. Brain dump. Okay, so that was just a skill there. That's pretty good. Skill to throw grenades you get benefited from.
McFlufferkin said this is for your guns, not the ordnance, so there's a potential combo synergy for this tree's action skill specifically.
Okay, yeah, I just wonder if, like, I can't think of a weapon. We don't know. There could be, like, weapons like, TDR weapons where like you have a max magazine, like if it's a flying drone, but it has like 40 fucking ammo, and you throw it after you shoot, and that will basically like have a drone that's just sitting there, with free ammunition, stuff like that. So I can see that being maybe good, but yeah. Anyways, what does it say? Sorry, overdrive skill. Rafa gains critical hit chance with his guns while in overcharge. It's okay. It's fine. Again, inoffensive. Why did I do that? Let's see. Okay, so this is the actual special augment. Apothos Lance, which I believe is his gun that he shoots. Critical hit chance. Gains critical hit chance. Oh, it doesn't. Like normally. Oh, whenever Rafa damages an enemy.
Said if TDR works like it does in BL3, the more remaining ammo in the mag, the more damage it does when thrown, reloaded. So the first shot does bonus damage before you throw it.
Ooh, I didn't even think about. Oh, wait. Oh, but you have to shoot, right? Isn't that the thing that like limits it? So the first shot you does bonus. Yeah, I sorry, I got excited because I thought, oh, are you going to be able to tap into like the first shot of your magazine does more damage? Maybe when you throw it like reinstances it and it counts as like being a different weapon. I don't know, probably not, but that'd be cool if you could somehow tap into that like initial first shot increase. Because otherwise, I don't see his like TDR allegiance too much with this, which is a little sad. Because I would love playing a character that like is. I love TDR. TDR is my favorite fucking manufacturer because they're just. TDR should be everyone's favorite manufacturer. It has so many variants. It's insane. They all do such different things. Whenever Rafa deals damage to an enemy with his skill, his gun gains further increased critical hit chance. It's for 8 seconds. It's not bad. I feel like it's one of those skills. It's probably really good. It's not very exciting on paper. Rafa gains increased status effect chance with shock. After sliding, Rafa's action skill
said you usually can't reload a TDR gun without shooting once first, so a full mag boosts the first shot, then reloading synergizes with that stacking buff he has.
Oh, right, the reload one.
It's very much TDR.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, I didn't think about the reloading and affecting, like, being as tied to TDR. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, so because I was gonna say, what other like faction has a value for reload? I think I'm Jacob's Delbert or Shotgun just like mag dumping essentially, but no, TDR makes sense. I never clicked that. And he deals increased critical hit chance when he slides. Yeah, this one's a bit of a moot point, but I think the point is that you're supposed to be playing TDR open, so you slide and you throw your weapon and you reload, and it'll have bonus damage. Unless that doesn't work that way, but I could see it working that way. Anyways, whenever Rafa shocks an enemy, all shots fired will now be critical hit. That's going to be really crazy, because if you have a bunch of TDRs flying around shooting things, this 2 seconds is going to be infinite. And you're just going to be like all of your TDR chucks are just going to be critting like crazy. So that's excessive. That's a really good passive. Apothis Lance weapon is replaced with a clone range. Oh, okay, yeah. So this is an augment. So his capstone, is changing his action skill, which has 3 charges, to be a close range shock taser burst. Pressing and holding will cause Rafa to deal shock damage to all enemies around him. The longer Rafa holds his attack, the greater the damage dealt. Ooh, I wonder if you can. I think you can. I think this is an offhanded weapon. So I think the idea is you throw a bunch of TDO weapons, they're flying around shooting shit. You pull this out, you hold it, and I think you can still shoot. But while you hold it, you're going to be causing a bunch of electric dots to happen, causing shock to happen, and causing everything that's in play to constantly be doing critical hit damage, which is pretty cool. The only thing it doesn't have is there's nothing that like does a cool thing with crit. So like if it was every single time you crit...
McFluffican said I may try this tree out, this branch in particular, especially for that capstone there.
Yeah. Oh, my fucking shoulder. Ow. Yeah, the only thing this is missing is something in the previous thing that does, like, whenever you crit, it does a thing. It decreases your ordnance damage cooldown. Was that one? If that was one, then that's kind of what I mean. Very neat. Also, yeah, it seems like it's got pretty good scaling. 50% of your damage per second. That's crazy. Anyways, but the last passive skill here is whenever Rafa applies a status effect, his action skill consumes no duration. And Apotheus lasts what? Wow. So you just fucking hold down the taser and it takes no duration. Oh no, you gain duration. Wait, how does that work? Whenever applies a status effect or action skill consumes no duration. Whenever Rafa applies a status effect, his action skills consume no duration, but his Apotheus Lance doesn't. It's a charge. Apotheus Lance consumes no charge. Oh, okay. Okay, is this a skill that also applies to the other skills, maybe then? Because why would it specify, like, has his action skill consumes no duration? And Apotheus Lance consumes no charge. So that one sounds crazy.
McFlufferkin said it's the Cerulean Tear Flask effect. Infinite use while the effect lasts.
Huh. Yeah, that's pretty good. That one sounds a little nutty. Like, well, that's like a really powerful subcolumn. Again, I don't think it's something that people should probably play it with beginning, because it's just a lot of the value is unlocked when I think we get to the very end. At least from the other ones. I'm taking a Tylenol. I have a headache. But yeah, that one, again, this is what I mean by Rafa. All of his skills to me seem like significantly more exciting. It's not that I don't like pet classes. It's just that they have no limitation. They seemingly synergize way better. I think of all the characters we've seen, which we only see 2, Rafa to me has been this like the synergistic character that I always love in these games, which like everything plays into itself, and it doesn't feel like one skill is kind of trying to make up weird ground. Question is, will they let us have our fun to the extent in which these skills should play off of each other? And there's not just like, yeah, even though that should work the way you're thinking, it just doesn't, because it would be too powerful. And you're like, what the fuck, you know? But yeah. Also, it's a 5 out of 5 skill, so that gets even better. That one seems nutty. I also don't completely understand why it. I wonder if it also applies to other skills, like, because yeah, if you're just applying status effects and it just basically makes it so that you're like you don't take any cooldowns. So if I have that skill and I have the sentries, then that sentry's always going, because your sentries are constantly applying an element. Maybe like you can only one enemy can detonate that. So that's a little less shitty, or a little less, but it had a number percentage, which makes me think it could detonate multiple times. Anyways, that seems like your key to like infinite alt usage. Anyways, this the middle column, baby. Drone. This is the one. So this is what made me fucking juiced up about Rafa. And maybe this is playing into what Fluff said, which is like his TDR base within the skill tree, which was he's got like drones and shit, which is very cool. But I don't think it's this skill tree. I think it's his other skill tree that has a lot of them. But this one I think is like a health thing. Whenever Rafa activates ordnance, spawns STRM gliders. Yeah, dude, if you can go down this skill tree and then go down the other skill tree, then your grenades are going to constantly be spawning. We're going to constantly be doing ordnance damage.
G-Red said, I feel like the only genre of games that allow pet and or minion classes to pop off is ARPGs. Yeah,
for sure, ARPGs. I think that's the only one. The only other one that I can think of is Outer Worlds. Is the only one. And I wouldn't even say a summoner so much as more like companion driven. Anyways, spawn strim, STRM gliders that hover. Yeah, so the other one, the melee build, we summoned like gliders that will like track enemies and kill them. This one, we summon gliders that will protect us, I believe. We summon these gliders, transferring some of the damage to his gliders. Once the glider receives too much damage, it will explode, dealing corrosive damage to nearby enemies, which seems pretty cool. You can have 3 gliders at a single time, but and it doesn't seem like that changes. No, just the damage and health of the gliders changes, which is neat. Very, very cool. But this is our augment. It's a grenade. When Rafa kills an enemy with his Apothis lance, it spawns a free grenade on the enemy. If Rafa has grenade equipment, it spawns that, and it copies the grenade instead. Whenever Rafa kills an enemy with his lance... Ooh, yeah, again, this would synergize with this left column really hard, because you would just hold down your taser, and then one of them would drop. And then, boom! What do you call it? They would just be grenade, because this doesn't have a chance, unlike the other one. I think in the other skill tree, where it's a percentage chance based on when you crits, you could drop one. This one just drops them. So yeah, I wonder what the capstone of this one is, because I think each capstone changes your augment on your your skill tree, your skill weapon. Yeah. Spawn a copy of the grenade. Yes. Move. All right, what's this one? Overdrive skill. Rafa gains increased gun damage while overdrive is active. This bonus is doubled while Rafa is charging Apothis' lance. Okay. Yeah. That was actually really good when if you can go down the other tree. But I wonder why it's like what this augment is. I feel like this one's gonna be a giant like AOE charge shot. Let's see. Anyways, the right tool. Rafa gains increased ordnance damage after reloading his gun. This bonus stacks. Yeah, I kind of see the Tediore vision where you're throwing grenades, you're throwing your Tediores. I also think your Tediores can be thrown and exploded like grenades. So I wonder if they can do stack it as ordnance damage. Probably not. But anyways, neat. What's this about? Passive. Whenever Rafa's damages an enemy with an action skill, place a remote detonator on that enemy. Ordnance override. Detonate all remote detonations. Remote detonations gain increased damage and increased splash radius for every remote detonation. I gotta think about this. What? So whenever Rafa kills an enemy, he puts down like a mine. No, it's whenever he kills it with his action skill. Okay. Or is it damage?
No, it's just damage. Said, but can you reload your ordnance?
I don't know. I think so. I think we've seen gameplay of them doing that with the chain gun that they were using one time. Okay, so you play with Rafa, you deal damage with your action skill, then you replace a remote detonation on them, and then you use your ordnance to detonate all the things. So. Yeah, I just think it's impossible. I feel like it's such a weird thing. I don't think we can go down to multiple columns, unfortunately. Because that would synergize really hard.
McFlufferkin said it overrides the ordnance into a remote detonation. Sticky bombs on enemies hit by the action skill.
Yeah, but if you use the shock Tesla cannon thing, you shock, you debuff, you use endless alt charge, you don't even use up your thing, you can hold this down a lot. You're marking all these enemies, you're putting detonations on enemies, and you activate your ordnance, it detonates all of them, and... Is there a cooldown on this, or could you just if I keep holding down this thing, there's got to be somewhere where it breaks, or which I'm not like where we can't test and can't see where like something isn't gonna let something continually happen. But that's great regardless. I'm curious what the ordnance becomes though, because if it's a charge shot that's AOE based, it's less good than the Tesla coil, I think. We got another thing, drone assault. Whenever Rafa activates or retriggers an action skill, send out one glider to an enemy in his view. Once it arrives, it explodes in corrosive damage equal to its remaining health. Yeah, so whenever you activate or re-trigger. So I don't think that would work. I think you'd be holding it down. You'd still be using your first initial hit of the Tesla coil. So I don't think that one would work the same way. Also, I don't know if we can hold it down so much as we can tap it and it'll hold it out, and then eventually he'll drop. What is it? Okay, so this is his capstone. Was that his thing? Yeah, this is passive. That's not a bad passive. Yeah, so 3 or 4 times, depending on what skills you have, you could detonate a drone. It's okay. But this is his capstone. Basilisk. You change your giant gun to now fire a corrosive blob that leaves behind a hazard and splits into several small projectiles whenever it detonates. The more charges a Apothulance consumes at once, the more it splits. But the question is, does the dot that I put on the ground, the blob, does that also detonate or count as, like, I didn't know, because all this stuff is based on activation. So yeah. That one's okay. I'm not sure if I love the blob, but I feel like that could be really... All these seem like fun, too, because you use it, and it's just going to be a splashy mess of shit, you know? Very neat. All right, this is to the right. Guys, we might have to save the one skill tree that I'm the most excited for tomorrow. Yeah. Whenever Rafa damages an enemy with his skill, he gains a stack of juke, like you're juking someone out. For every stack of juke, he gains increased overdrive bonus. Whenever override ends, all stacks are lost. Rafa gains damage to enemy with his skill. He gains stacks of juke for every stack of juke he gets. Overdrive. Okay, I get it. Overdrive bonus, I think, gives you more damage and stuff like that. It's actually probably a much better skill than we think. But you have to have an action skill that can hit multiple enemies. And we don't know if we can go down sub-columns yet. Like multiple sub-columns, which the more I look at him, the more I think, if he can, then that's insane. Again, I think it's just Rafa whoever made Rafa is tickling my balls with how much I love synergy. And a lot of things play into itself really hard. Again, maybe they don't. Oh, they don't. I'm being dumb. Sorry, I've been way too excited and not remembering how this game works and how it's limited. Unlike every other game, this game is limited by 3 things that you can invest in. So you can't get the Tesla coil if you get the thing that applies. At least I don't think. I think that was one. Was that an augment or was that a... No, I think that was a different thing. Maybe I don't remember. I don't remember if the thing that if you could have the Tesla coil and the thing that puts mines on people. I don't know if that was one. I think it was an augment, not a capstone. Ha! All right, whatever Rafa deals. Do we already? Yes, we already did this one. Skip. All right, what's the next one? This is an augment. Apothis Lance gains increased projectile size and projectile speed. It's okay. I'm sure it's gonna be good. Yeah. Oh, wait, chains? Wait a minute. Number of chains. I wonder if that plays within... What's chains mean? Does chains means like bore? Like how many times it can go through someone? Or does that mean like if there is an AoE thing, like if you use this one, technically that's considered chain, and will that tap into that? I can see it meaning bore. It even says bore. Engorged bore. Yeah. So maybe it means it can bore up to 3 times and that's it? Boar was insanely good. Limiting it to 3 times would be significantly less good, because that's the whole point of Boar. Boar was able to deal 10x damage or thousands of damage if it was dealing with an enemy that had weird mesh texture things. Anyways, La Graza. Override skill, Rafa gains increased gun damage, handling, whatever, I don't care. I hate when there's handling of guns. I'm I feel nothing. Whenever O-Drive ends, convert all of the juke stacks into mate stacks. Gain increased action skill cooldown rate for every stack of mate. Once Rafa's action skill is redone, I guess. Lose all stacks. Okay, that's kind of a fun cycle, though. So it's kind of, they play into each other in an interesting way. That's kind of neat. I don't know if it's good, but it's neat. All right. Overwrite skill, Rafa gains increased fire rate and reload speed. And it's just not enough. It's like 3% of attack speed. It's not a very high. It's not enough of a number to make me excited. But maybe it's good. Who knows? All right. This is the capstone for the final thing. This is the final capstone. We have one more skill after this, though. Apothis Lance now changes and is replaced with an incendiary laser that pierces enemies. Pierce and holding the button causes the laser to deal increased damage and chains to more enemies as it consumes charges. Oh, because that's what it meant up here by chain. So it also, you have a bigger laser, a faster moving projectile, and now it chains. I'm so curious to see if you can get down and dirty into all these things. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why I felt like this was more possible when I was reading the pet class girl, like the Siren. With him, it seems like it's, like if you can tap into
Lone
these.
Syndicate said, I don't see a dot damage.
I don't see a lot of dot damage. Yeah, I don't see a lot of dot damage. A lot with actually, you see a lot of like weird. It's all like this is definitely his like action skill class. Like this one, it seems like all of these, if you can go into multiple skill trees, a lot of them are like reducing action skill cooldown and all those things. Gaining weird buffs by reloading as well, which is kind of neat. But you basically activate certain debuffs on enemies when you activate your action skill on them and things like that. Whenever Rafa deals damage with his action skill to an enemy, he gains a chance to deal that damage again. That's pretty good too. Yeah, this skill tree is not as sexy as a lot of them, but it is far more like useful, which I thought it would be going to be. But I shouldn't say it's not as sexy. There are moments where it seems really fun, like builds that are destroying, like the Tesla build thing.
Fetus said the Malawan soldier will be the dot class.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny though, because he is probably going to be the TDR one. And I wish he had more TDR build, like weapon or skill star. He has some, definitely has some, but I wish there was more. Like, I want a person that could just like. I wish there was just a character that was just TDR, like just that. Because to me, that was like the best pet class. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Why Mose was also one of the better pet class characters. It wasn't just because of grenades. It was because you could just keep throwing your weapons because you recovered ammunition. So you were able just to constantly like output a shit ton of a TDR ability. So that was another way you were kind of like a summoner class. But the fucking TDR weapons phase through walls and shit, and they're super aggressive. And there's like 18 versions of the drones, of like a pistol that it is, a shotgun that it is, a minigun that is doing that, a ×4 shotgun that's just nuking people and tossing them on their ass every time it hits them because there's a debuff intrinsically within the shotguns to do that. Just a real fucking bat out of hell type of build. And I wish I had seen a little bit more of that in here, which is, maybe it's in the other skill tree. Not that this skill tree didn't have a lot of good, like some TDR abilities with reload, but I want more. Unfortunately, guys, because of time constraints, I could not show you our big Puma, which
Lone
is
Syndicate
this
said
one.
GRINN must be scraping the bottom of the barrel to classify a grenade build as a pet class.
But it's the thing. It was though. It's the summoner class that we all wanted. Okay, like the thing that limits summoner classes is that they're all like, here's your one animal. Okay, that's it. I thought I was supposed to have like a summoner class who would apply like multiple pets or multiple summons. Or at least being able to make those things ravenous beyond compare, or make the base summon look so fucking awesome. Like, oh, I don't know, fucking Death Trap. Like, Death Trap was one of the few things they got really right about. Like, oh yeah, it starts off as like a slab of like metal and junk, and then it turns into this giant like long nailed monster. That looks crazy massive. Like, that's a better indication of that. And to me, if we could get Death Trap, but also with TDR stuff, and having like all of the viability of like so many different options for like weird drone things, I would lock the fuck into that class instantaneously. But this is the one that I'm the most excited for. I don't know why, to tell you the truth. It just kind of looked fun. This is, to me, the most like Gunzerker-ish one he has. Because he basically just summons these two arms, and then these two arms just grip, essentially. And one of the things I always kind of feel frustrated with sometimes when playing certain games is it's just a bad value judgment sometimes, to where like if I activate my skill tree or skill for like a couple seconds, I'm not able to do damage with my gun.
Pet classes. Then there's hunter pet classes. Hunter style has one big pet, like Trouble, while Summoner has minions, Vexes, Reapers, and Spectres. Grenade builds are casters.
Lone Syndicate said too bad Death Trap's damage fell off
Yeah,
a cliff in UVHM.
Death Trap was just a good, in terms of his design, it was awesome. But yeah, I'm more talking about like, when I talk about my grenade thing, I'm talking about like TDR weapons or like guns with legs. Now, I don't know if you want to say like, well, technically a TDR is not a summon or a pet. It is a gun that walking around. But to me, I'm like, yeah, but my fucking actual pet has like, it's got fucking lobotomized and he's running into a corner for 20 minutes. And the summons I create do no damage anyway. So like, yeah, they don't scale, which honestly was the main problem, is that like at least you could scale up gun damage or you could scale up grenade damage, and both of those would scale up each other. And they both resulted in, like, to me, what was the feeling of like a pet class, or what it should be, or a summoner class, which is like overwhelming minions like consuming everything in front of you. I've never got to experience what it's like to have like a one like top dog.
McFlufferkin
Eat
said
everybody.
Tediore is pretty much a summoner style. But what you did as Moe's was Grenadier, not Tediore summons. That was Wonderlands.
But I thought my build, but that's what I kind of mean within Moses' build. I thought grenades and summons were to me almost synonymous. Like again, if you were just to like, it's funny because if you look at like Wonderlands, Wonderlands is a Tediore, is the same thing, except instead of it being a Tediore that's floating around with like a trail of like, you know, tech bubbles or whatever it is, in Wonderlands it's just a skull, you know. But even still, you could get a gun with wings in Wonderlands. So I still think the end result ended up being what to me felt like the most summonery out of all of it. But anyways, I digress. This to me was the most interesting. I don't know if I'm misremembering some of the skills though, because sometimes when I was watching the video, people break down everything really quick because I only watched one pass of it. And I knew I wanted to break it down with you guys. So I only watched one thing of this, but I thought this one seemed neat. And also when I see gameplay of this, I thought,
said the exploitable grenade in BL3 was more like sending out a swarm of magic missiles, still a caster, not a summoner. Unless you consider them explosive wisps.
Yeah, I guess to me they like I always attribute it to like
Gnawing
Bloodwing.
Fetus said in BL3 if it exploded, more used it. But Tediore had no explosive bullets. Saray.
No, but it eventually they blew up. So that, like you throw your Tediore, it would shoot its magazine and then it would drive into someone and explode on them. But I forgot what I was about to say when I was reading. Phone Fluff said the thing about the caster thing. The reason why I attribute them to be very similar is because in Borderlands we've always had Bloodwing or Flax Bloodwings, and to me the grenades were exactly that. Where like they would just sit there and either like do dive bombs at enemies, or they would drive right into them and explode, or that. We've never had, besides like Flax drones, and I think Wilhelm had something. We had something like that, which was kind of a permanent flying thing. Yeah, Wilhelm had Wolf Insane. But yeah, it was the first time where like that like companion to me felt like Bloodwing, which Bloodwing in BL1 was amazing. You throw that fucking thing out and it would just like carpet bomb everyone in its path. It was great. It was great. Whereas Moe's to me felt like that. But I guess if you're thinking about like a traditional pet class like Flak, then yeah, I guess it was less. It felt less like that. But I think it's funny because in Wonderlands, a lot of the like the summoner things that they made were just retextures of like Tediore abilities, or I think it's just retextures of a lot of Tediore abilities, honestly. They were like floating skulls, but in reality it was just a Tediore fucking shit up and spewing out little thing, like little dots, essentially little tiny like icicle things. Anyways, yes, tomorrow we'll break down this one, which will be perfect. That way we can do a little bit of Withering Waves hangout sesh and all that stuff. I'm sorry I didn't get to do too much React. I thought we might have some time, but I have to go make food because I have to feed myself, as well as let my dogs out, and as well as probably chill out because my body's so tired today. But I will hopefully see you guys tomorrow. Sorry for the shortest stream. Tomorrow, by the way, we will be streaming at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time unless anything goes horribly wrong, but hopefully it will work out. I hope I can see you then. We'll be playing some... I might start doing this before we jump into ZZs, just that way people who don't care about Withering Waves, sorry, not
Gnawing
ZZs.
Fetus said nom nom nom.
Nom nom nom, gotta go eat. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day. If you happen to want to see some content from me, on this channel, we uploaded a Doom video, so if you weren't sick and tired of me talking about how much I love Doom, then there's that. But if not, take care. Hopefully I can see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope I can see you again, and goodbye for now, my friends.